here. What's up? Welcome to Double
Hey.
Drop Down. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
I know it's been. It feels like epic amount of time every time before we get to the show.
2 weeks feels like an epic amount of time to people.
For us.
Yeah, I feel like 2 weeks is a lifetime. Like, entire regimes are falling and being built in 2 weeks anymore. So it's good to see you after 2 weeks.
We were trying to be cheeky here, and let's see here. Oh, that's not what we wanted to go to. Why is it going to that? Oh, because we have a game. So we were trying to play NBA Jam for y'all.
Emulated NBA Jam.
Emulated to see if we couldn't get like a set. Oh, shoot, you could play. How do you shoot?
Shot clock violation.
Of course that was a violation.
See.
Well, we're not even playing the right. You have Matumbo. Did you just get dunked on by New York?
Yeah.
Or at least a shot on it. So if you're not familiar, we got what? We got the. Hold on, I'm gonna take away your.
Kaboom! Oh,
you got it.
Bringing my
81-60 right now for our Nuggets against Miami Heat. So if you're watching the game and you're still tuning in to us, welcome. If you're not, which you probably aren't because we see how many people are watching us right now, get into the Adam and Ryan stream. Much better than this blowout Nuggets game.
Yeah, right? Geez, just crushing the Heat. Who even cares about that anymore? How do we get back out of this? I'm just going to restart it.
So do you remember, just while you're figuring out if you can get an exhibition game on that,
Yeah.
Do you remember when like Carmelo Anthony and all the Nuggets were going through all that craziness a couple years ago? I feel like they were at this point, so I'm excited. I'm excited to see what's.
They never made it to the championship, right?
Did.
They have never. I live in multiple sports, or I root for a lot of different sports teams that never do well at all. Like I'm a Mariners fan, I'm a Rockies fan. Rockies okay.
I went to a Rockies game the other day.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
How was it?
They lost terribly.
Well, they're not doing great this year.
They were not. They were not. They got a triple though. I got to see a triple.
Hey,
sick.
That ain't nothing.
Yeah, it's not often you see a triple, but
that's true. I have found that I don't care about basketball at all, but as soon as like your home team is being in the basketball championships or whatever for the first time ever
or whatever,
like I had thought about, I will probably watch at least one of these games, which I have not watched an NBA game in 15 years probably.
Well, we're going to keep tabs on it.
Yeah.
82-60 right now. No reason you should be watching that craziness when you got this hotness.
It's a blowout.
Here. It's
12 or 22 points. Forget it. This game is over.
I wonder who's making the shots here.
I wonder who's making the points.
Who's making the field goals? Actually, they are called field goals, aren't they? Let's see here. We can probably figure it out.
Something.
All right, we got Nikola Jokic.
No, that's their main guy.
Yeah, I know he's killing it.
Yeah.
So, but I'm saying, like, aren't these the players that are killing it right now? Standings.
Couldn't tell you about basketball.
Didn't know where we're headed. So, all right, fair enough. Well, we got some basketball tonight. If you're in on the basketball, 84-63 Nuggets, baby.
Keep you apprised.
Keep you abreast of that. So, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Adam Ryan Show.
Happy Thursday.
It is it's so nice out. I can actually understand why people may not want to be like on a screen at this point because of how beautiful it's been. I went and played some tennis a little bit earlier with the kids.
How are you at tennis?
Terrible. And they locked the tennis courts that are like nasty at the school over here. So we had to play on a basketball court with no net.
Fuck. So during COVID, the high school near us, now we screwed it up and we totally abused it. But like the high school near us was like in walking distance. They had a whole amazing tennis court setup that they had, brand new, nobody using it, right? Because we're in the middle of COVID. We go over, we buy tennis rackets for all of us. We're learning tennis. Like, it's amazing. And then, of course, they locked it. They chained it all up.
Why?
And, well, I mean, part of it was that, like, we were being lax about letting kids onto the tennis court with their bikes and stuff. And, we were not necessarily being.
You were the one.
Yeah.
It was your fault.
It was us. Like, we were not being perhaps the best stewards of their brand new tennis court, but also, like, hey, come on, we're in the middle of COVID. You can't cut people a break and like let them have a public utility of tennis around there because your tennis court is getting scuffed up. I don't know. It felt like a dick move.
I feel like that's a legit issue if you're not using it for the tennis itself.
But like it's not like we were just like in there running donuts and doing nothing else. Like we were playing tennis, but then occasionally a kid would have a bike in there as well, right? And I'm not even saying that they were like making gigantic scratches or whatever to there.
But
it's just people
were making scratches.
Maybe they were. I don't know.
Hey, so I want to tell you about a tennis court. So I was in Denver this last week, and I was staying at a downtown hotel.
Sure.
And I opened my window, and there's a freaking tennis court on the top of another building.
Hey,
and people playing tennis.
With giant fences to keep it from going. Yeah,
and then a track around the tennis court. I was like, all right, that's some ritzy stuff over there. So.
Was that like an apartment or a hotel?
It was literally a hotel.
Huh.
It was the Hyatt in downtown Denver.
Hey, that's kind of interesting.
So it was interesting, and then like in the morning, I woke up and there was two people playing tennis, and it was a husband and wife, and sorry, but the wife was sucking it up, and I was wanted to yell out of the window like, "Boo! Come on, let's get a volley on this."
You're just commentating at it. You're like 30 love. You're yelling out the score, even though they're not even keeping score.
It would have been perfect because it was like a two-way mirror hotel. They wouldn't even known who it was yelling
You're just
at them.
shouting it out a tiny hole in the side just so they could hear it.
It would have been good.
That would have been great.
I was really close to doing it, but
nice.
you know.
Hey, so today we should probably do a rundown on what we're doing on the show, right?
What are we doing today?
We're definitely doing AI board game. So part of this, we've been making this AI board game from scratch, from helping with AI, helping from the chat, helping from our brains to create a board game that we wouldn't be able to do without AI stuff. So we'll definitely be playing.
And how far have we gotten along? Because you know what? I've been talking about this with people forever, and they're like, "Aren't you the guy that does the board game thing with his buddy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we do have a board game, and it's awesome, and we're about to get this thing out of there."
I tell it to my team all the time, and they were like, "Hey, we definitely got to play your board game once it's done."
And I think so that was going to be my question.
Yeah.
When do we draw the line? Because we could be tweaking the shit out of this. We're close to having almost everything.
Yeah.
We just almost got to land the plane now.
Here's what I feel like. I feel like we can't take it so far that we're doing like crazy custom everything. But what we do need to do is like build the 3D print of the board, right? Of the tiles. Like I want to be able to have a thing that people could just literally print out themselves from a couple of files that do 3D printers and have all of that stuff, right? And then the artwork for everything, the same thing. And I feel like if we can create that as we're playtesting it, so then we just keep playtesting it as we're spending time creating these, that like once we get that play tested and all the stuff built for it, it will just come together in the next like couple months. If I had to guess,
I'm gonna say let's
like
set
end of summer.
Let's set a tentative end of July.
Yeah,
I feel like
man, I feel like that's close.
Yeah, we're close.
Yeah,
we are close. I feel like we're close.
Okay.
So, which brings me to another topic, which we can get into. So we're gonna do here. Let's do a rundown of show. We're gonna talk about.
So that's at the end. AI board game is at the end, the second half of the show.
You got to check that. We got some AI predictions coming.
Well, OpenAI made some predictions about what's going to happen in the next 10 years, which I feel like would be interesting.
10
to
years.
Hear
That's
yours.
a long time. And that's
it's true.
Crazy to see how that. So I love to see that.
Yeah.
So I think a segue is a little bit an AI risk discussion, which isn't going to be super in depth because I have some insights, but not enough that we can go into. But it goes our philosophical discussions that we always have. If we have a chance, I'll just talk a little bit about a commencement speech from my president at the college I work, and they talked about AI. I feel like it's crazy that AI just like makes it way into everything that everyone talks about anymore.
Everything.
So there's that.
It shows you, and how quickly, right?
For sure. And if you're interested, of course, we got to have the Adam's creepy AI video of the 2 weeks. So I got to create a creepy video that we're going to watch in a little bit. That's going to be fun.
Okay, cool. I love that.
And I think we do need to address something. We're going to get back to this. We didn't formally put this on the agenda. We kind of threw it on there at the end of the day. But we do want to talk about some changes to Reddit that are not AI related.
Yeah.
But it affects the way that we interface with the things that we find online.
It's basically the only social media that I use anymore. but and it's changing.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can not have those changes bad.
It's
But
coming.
we're going to talk about that in a little bit. We got some, Adobe Firefly. Oh, I just adjusted it to get you in there too. No, this is all good. So we got AI. It was Adobe Firefly, but I think there's something better than the Firefly, right? Isn't it the Photoshop beta?
Well, so Adobe Firefly is what they're calling their AI stuff, and so they're basically the like way that they're positioning it is there's new Adobe Firefly capabilities that are now integrated into Adobe Photoshop. So we talked a little bit last time about some of the new stuff that they had around vectors, like recoloring vector art. And today we'll talk about the generative fill in Photoshop, which is neat.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, I've been playing with it.
I got some ideas and what I want to try with it, but you sounds like you have some things.
Well, no, I don't really. Like I've watched some things and I played around with it a little bit and been, I don't know, slightly underwhelmed.
Well, I've been overwhelmed with it because I saw some other things, and maybe that will change your mind when you see that some of the AI stuff that the memes were doing.
Yeah, no, that could be true. That's just me screwing around with it for a little bit.
And then I think what we need to do tonight, so just to get you to the board game, we've talked about the theme. If you don't know what the theme is, go check out our VODs.
So many VODs.
So much.
Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Discord.
Those are the two. If it's anything else, we're really not on those other platforms.
No.
We need to get off Twitter, I think.
Yeah. I'm not into Twitter anymore.
Especially because of other people that are
hey,
owning that. But,
totally.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we're going to get in there. We're going to be making the final two enemies, Krampus and Light Steak, tonight. Did I call it steak?
Light Steak.
Light Steak. That's going to be a new enemy. Light Snake, and we're gonna print those out. We'll probably get those printed during the show, and then
did you see the Light Snake?
I did not.
So we might have those. Might not be able to. I said specifically.
I think you did.
These could perhaps not print. I was having a very hard time because so part of this was we want to create those characters. I don't just want to make them myself, right? Like I want AI to come up with what those silhouettes are.
Sure.
And so I was using the Adobe Firefly, which is very good. I feel like that is one of the best ones that I'm using over Stable Diffusion and perhaps even over Midjourney, and it's free and it's just whatever, and it's this beta. So I've been using that and it's done a really great job. We can see some of the examples that I have, which I uploaded to this Trello board, but I was having a real hard time with Light Snake. You'll see.
Okay. Well, because I think using certain terms, and we'll get to it, where they're like could create things, you have to use the right terms.
Well, and it's silhouettes, right? How do you make a silhouette of a snake that has Christmas lights on it or in it?
Or do we need to?
No,
do we need to?
100%, because it came through on the chat. I feel like we have to include Christmas light snake because it's a challenge, right?
I'm gonna agree with the idea that you put those Christmas lights in it, but at that scale and size, you just infer that they're part of.
But how would you even infer that? Like bumps on a snake?
Yeah, hell yeah. What is it going to look like? What is it? It's not like it's lit up or anything. All right.
That's what I'm saying.
We'll get to printing those out.
The things that I made, or the objects that I made, are perhaps too detailed for as small as we are.
And then we jump into our final piece, which is obviously our board game. Yeah. And we're going to be playing that tonight.
We're going to play. We're going to do like a whole playing and working. It's going to be a play and work session. So Adam's going to play the game and like take notes, and we're just got to play it a lot of times to see what's fun and interesting about it. We added some notes that we took last time, and then all work on people's.
And see, one of the themes of what we've always done is we want to do as much as we can on the show. So Ryan did a little bit of work outside of there, but if we're on the show, you're watching literally the board game come together based off Adam and Ryan's show.
Exactly.
There's minimal discussion.
What's fun.
That's what's cool about this. And so I think one of the cool things is if you're watching live, that's awesome. And we really love you and appreciate you for helping us kind of build this out. But if you're watching on the VOD and you're at this point and you're seeing where this is at and you don't know what the hell we're talking about, go check out some of those other episodes that kind of give us that those insights of how we got to this point. Because even myself, it's like watching, I don't know, it's like watching your kid grow. If you're by your kid all your life, you're just like, of course they're this.
Right.
You get somebody else that hasn't seen that, they're like, holy crap, that's where it's... this started as a seed of an idea of like, let's make a board game using some AI.
Well,
and look where we're at.
Yeah, and I feel like it incorporates so many things that we are into. 3D printing, right? We're obviously 3D printing all of this. We want to have that as a 3D printing thing. We are into AI. We're into, using digital, graphics software to create things. It's like the perfect confluence of all of that stuff.
Hell yeah. And guess who we just got on the live stream?
Nice.
Freaking Talon.
Talon.
What is
Thanks,
up, my
Talon.
friend? Hopefully your internship is going kick ass right now because we hold you in very high regard, just to let you know. You were like one of the long-standing fans of Adam and Ryan Show. Cheers to Mr. Talon there. So tonight, I know not everyone's always able to plug in for the full kind of swing of things, but we're getting in some of these topics right off the bat, and I think we just need to jump into it. One of the very first things that we kind of already talked about. We've always it's been a couple weeks. It's been the bomb. All right, Talon's saying working with Ashley about. Oh yeah. So Talon worked for us at the college for a while, and he kicked ass at launching our innovation lab. Which I'm really sad, Talon, you're not seeing like the evolution of the furniture and all the other things coming into it, but just know.
But he was in at the ground floor of that.
You helped build this.
It would be worse if it was just dying, right?
Yes,
so now it's getting upgraded and it's getting cool new stuff.
He injected the fuel into this, and so we appreciate that. So you're gonna have to keep coming back, and you're gonna have to know like you were part of the foundation that built this up.
100%.
But with his new career and his new kind of like prospects, moving that it's been something awesome to be able to grow your skill set and do other cool things. So he goes from like the janky printers we may have in the innovation lab, which actually the first one was super janky. Then we got some better ones.
Nice.
And now he has like a fully functional badass one that does all these other parts for what he works with. So totally appreciate that that growth.
We got to have Talon back on the show. He was on the show.
He was our first guest. On Adam Ryan Show.
Friend of the show.
Hell yeah, friend of the show. We were going to get you on the show again. You're going to have to talk about 3D printing, what you've been up to lately.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. But as we get into this, OpenAI predictions, Ryan, that's on you. What is up with the predictions?
Well, so let me click on this because it wasn't that huge of a thing. It wasn't like they had a dozen different predictions.
I was building you up.
You're like I have all these takes.
Go.
So basically, I mean, here was. Don't read it.
I can't read, right? You know that.
You're like, I can't read. So why do you gotta expose that on the show? So basically, Sam Altman, who is the creator, sort of the head of OpenAI,
the guy that was like the start of Scientology. No, wait, the thing on unitology from
is that what it was
from Dead Space? Altman.
Is that all I
His
don't
name's
remember?
Altman. It's from
man.
Dead Space.
It's all coming together now.
This is like reality coming together. All right. No. Anyways, continue.
He was saying basically that he predicts, or there. It wasn't even him. Like
this is
which
OpenAI
is
CIO, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So basically, what they were saying is like him and his team as like talking about and doing things, which of course they are, right?
Sure.
They're so instrumental, and so big in this space. That within the next 10 years, AI systems will exceed expert skill level in most domains. And basically, just saying, hey, we think with these models and the way that we're going and not even necessarily us, but just the way that this is going with that for most domains in 10 years, it's going to exceed expert skill in all of those. And that made me think like, does that mean in 10 years that, like, what would you suggest your children go to college for at that point? Is anyone going to have a job at that point? If it can take basically the expert skill at most domains and be an expert in it, and you can duplicate that across, like, I could just have as many chat GPTs as I want going at the same time, right? Or whatever that ends up being in 10 years. Is that it? Does that basically mean the end of not democracy,
capitalism?
capitalism in that sense, like for all of us, and what does that mean to children who are going to be coming of age in 10 years?
So this is a prediction.
Yeah.
It's 10 years in the future.
Totally. This is all hot takes at this point. Like, and so is Sam Altman. He doesn't know what fucking is going to happen in 10 years.
I mean, he's the guy that made ChatGPT, or
he is very knowledgeable to do that, but he can't predict.
No. Well, and I think one of the interesting things is we're going to bring in later down the line somebody that knows a little bit more about how AI works. And so it kind of gives you that perspective going forward. But for that perspective and your question you pose, like, what do our kids go into? What do we do? I think that AI will be able to develop really good. And I don't know, 10 years seems like a long time, and that there's a lot that can happen. But I feel like there's still this human element to things that no matter how much AI gets good, what it might do is create kind of like I don't even know what you'd call it, like a new renaissance of like actually meeting in person. Because we were talking about this at the college level, and if AI is doing all this crap, like, what is the benefit of college? It's to get people together in human form and have conversations at that level and be able to do things.
And like feed off of each other in order to sort of build up like more interesting ideas, like and it's that relationship, right? It's your network. It's the person, it's the people that you talk to and gain interest from. But if an AI can do all of that better than you, even as a group, is then your... So like capitalism breaks down at that point because you can't just have,
that shit's not happening.
You can't just have 30 people at the top of like the entire world structure, right? Making all of the money because they own the AI that does all of the work, right? Like you can't have that. That's how you end up with like beheadings.
Well, something's gonna happen. It's a big enough disruptor at this point that it's gonna be an issue here. One of the things that I was gonna kind of segue into, and I wasn't 100% ready to talk about it, but I feel like I talked about Mote. So President Mote, he is the president of a university here.
Welcome.
And hey, what's going on? Hopefully, baseball game went well. What we were talking about though is, as a president of a university, to get to that piece during the commencement ceremony speech, he talked about AI. I mean, it's that pervasive enough that a president at a commencement speech brings up AI. But one of the things that he was trying to get into was like, okay, how do we contend with this? What does this mean for the future? And one of the pieces that we were talking about is like, how do we exist with robots? How do we exist with AI? Like, what is the way that we kind of interface in such a way that we're able to understand like how we leverage it in a big way? So in higher education, there's it's a little bit of a juxtaposition right now. I've been to some conversations. We've been talking about like how this can go back and forth.
No, the only thing I was going to say is like I was in on one of Adam's conversations. Like he had a webinar that he was part of and like had all these other educators that was in there. And I found it super interesting, but it was almost like an hour was not enough, you know, like to understand. So sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine. It's
but
good.
Like I do want to hear that. I do want to hear like what the sort of general, because it feels like that is such a disruptor in that place.
Well, and that's the thing is that we've noticed new faculty, new folks that are coming in are like, all right, we're going to adapt. We're going to use all this technology. Older faculty, for the most part, it's either I'm in or I'm out. And the ones that are in are, so here's a great example. We were talking with a faculty member and they're like, I don't care about writing anymore. Like what the output is, sure, make it ChatGPT. I don't care that is the output. But what they do care about is the process that they went into to get to that output.
Sure.
They're not going to say, oh, you put in one sentence and you spit it out, because they're going to call bullshit on it and you're going to get a bad grade, because they have also ChatGPT to go and do other things or whatever AI they're using. And so what they're building on is how do you start to construct an experience and a process that you get to an endpoint.
Yeah.
And one of the things, and I'm just going to be very candid with you right now, is because I'm an AI user, if you will, is that I have been trying to perfect my ability to leverage like AI in the best way that I can. It's never going to be perfect. It's always going to be a learning kind of thing. And so to kind of segue from the president conversation, from a top level leadership kind of perspective, I think that is already a very pervasive conversation. We're figuring out how do we just get people to be educated, to be better learners, to understand how to work with different AIs and different kind of things like that, work together. Those soft skills still need to be there.
Totally.
You can't get rid of those. AI is not going to replace the ability to talk with people.
Well, and it's funny because so I've been talking with my team, like not my team, but the team that I am on, right?
Fair.
I am not leading any teams, but like they are, I have been pushing ChatGPT and AI generated stuff for a while, basically since we've been doing it.
Sure.
And they have been like, I get to do the fun thing of like blowing people's minds of showing what ChatGPT can do or DALL-E can do 6 months ago or all of those things, right? And so I'm like, oh, we could use this to help us in our everyday work. Awesome. Love that. Blowing our minds. Super cool. Hey, we could use this to like maybe create images for tiles and things like that we normally do. Amazing. We love that. Right. And then I go, hey, we use a like Microsoft Azure. And so because of that, we can use ChatGPT, our own instance of ChatGPT, inside of that and build it into the platform that we're doing and have it write questions and do things for us. And that's when people were like, wait a minute, but that's what I do. Mm-hmm. Right. And so as soon as it became like, wait, but that's the thing that like I get paid for. Right. And what happens if like the computer can do that I get paid for? And you were like, that all of those things that I was talking about before were other things that people got paid for, right? and we're taking those away, and you were excited about them, right? And being like, holy shit, it could go so much further and be so much more awesome. But as soon as it hits home for you, you're like, oh man, now I don't know if that's like what I wanted to this direction to be going to. And maybe we need to build in spots that make sure that we're still relevant to this thing. And I'm like, oh man, you can't think about it like that. Like if you do that, if you think about it in that way, somebody else is going to come in and eat your lunch like instantly, right?
Well, and to your point, like that, I think that's the thing is that there are certain jobs that instantly got just swept up. So like if you're a content writer for online kind of stuff, it seemed like a lot of those jobs got really swept away because somebody's like,
social media posts.
I pay $20 a month and I get ChatGPT and it's not as good as what you did, but I don't have to pay
it's 80%
salary.
there.
Yeah,
right.
we're close.
Yep.
But what I'm thinking is like when we get to the education realm and when we start working with these things, you're going to have to understand them and from a bigger kind of context. And so if you don't mind, let's take a quick peek at something that I had found online. And one of these things, there are billions of these.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say.
Thank you, Edgar's Griga, for this one. But there are a bazillion of these things. But what I wanted to show... And what I wanted to like at least illustrate on this is that when we talk about ChatGPT, I really feel like a lot of the people we're working with feel very surfacey about this. They think about it as I put in a singular question and it outputs everything that I would expect it to do. Mm-hmm. That is not how we use it. It is a very much a back and forth. It's almost like an assistant. It's almost like another person that you're using to kind of craft something.
That's what I heard. I heard it's like you're hiring a somewhat like almost an assistant, that has certain skills but really lacking in other skills, right? It's like you're adding an intern.
So I wanted to just go because I found this guide and I thought it was good. Just to help illustrate some things. We've talked about ChatGPT a lot, but I wanted to go through it and just give you some quick insights on ChatGPT. And then if you're interested in using AI and want to use it to a little bit better depth, this at least just opens your mind to it. This is not the definitive cheat sheet. There are a bazillion ways that you can do this. Mm-hmm. But one of the interesting things is like some of the terminology, like ML, machine learning, prompt. That's essentially what you're putting into that AI to kind of pull it out. You can read yourself through some of this chart. But one of the two things that are different right now is 3.5 and 4 as far as GPT is concerned. So there's like the free one that most people are using is 3.5, and essentially just what the hell's the difference between 3.5 and 4 is really one of those questions that a lot of people ask.
Okay.
And it's the amount of the data set that it uses to output your answer.
Yeah.
So we're going from, millions of results to trillions of results.
Totally.
And I said results, but results. And if you take 3.5 and you run that and you're using the free version, it is like that. It snaps out the answer immediately. If you're using 4, you're going to notice a little bit of a delay in that. And why is there that delay? Because the data set is so humongous that it's into the trillions compared to the billions.
I don't feel it like that. It's that delayed either.
Well, and if we go to 5, we're talking like ridiculous amounts. So there's a lot of things that you got to consider as you go along.
Scan back up. What I was looking at my phone is it didn't help them spell terminology correctly.
They did not. Terminology.
Terminology. Maybe that's our own thing. They just
all right,
came up
just come up with this guy, Edgar's. He's not an English speaker, so hey, man.
Maybe that's how you spell it.
Get your thing. I appreciate the spell check on that. It's totally blue.
Because I was looking at that, I was like, is that how you spell
all right, we're done. We blew past this one. No trust. No, I'm just kidding. All right, we're gonna use some of this. So if you're in ChatGPT, you don't know about it too much. There is a settings. You can get into that. There's a little bit of different controls that you can do. There's data controls. That's where you turn on your plugins, which I haven't
off
used.
chat history.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. So like if you're doing some like interesting
Model
things for
training?
work, you don't want it to necessarily have that set out.
And you're about to be on a stream and you don't want to have to show what you're.
You can change the titles now. That is something.
Okay,
but here's the meat of what I wanted to show you today.
Okay.
Here's the meat of it.
Yeah.
And this helped me, not necessarily this cheat sheet, but just helps me articulate my point of how I've used it, because this is how I Google searched in the past. Okay. I would like to think of myself as a quasi expert Google searcher, or somebody that knows how to find things in different resources when there's a lot of data. Sure. How do you home into the things that you need to do?
Yeah.
And so in this particular case, when you're creating a prompt, it's called Chat GPT. Chat indicating that you're going to go back and forth a couple times to kind of get something distilled down to something.
Sure.
So a basic formula is you give the kind of platform some sort of a role, some sort of thing to think about. So, tell it, be a person, be a kind of a position or something that kind of indicates who that they're going to take that role of.
Yeah.
And then here's what you want to do, and here's how you'd want to do it.
Because it's like, who's the author, right?
Correct.
And I want to be able to do like give you back in the same way that author would give you something back, right? So in this case, a personal trainer.
100%. And so here's the thing: it's like, I think this even goes a little less than I do. It's like, as a personal trainer, your task is to provide a beginner's workout routine in the form of a step-by-step guide.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Like, you give it then some specificity of what you're looking for. So if you go down a little bit further,
I almost always add in a conversational tone. I just love that. I love it when it's in a conversational tone.
And honestly,
pro tip
in that, like, that, to your point, is that you could just build a tone list and say, here are the different tones, and that changes. And so and I don't want to spend too much more time on this, but the whole point is that in this case, they're using up to 3 sentences. Sometimes I will use like 4 paragraphs of very specific things. Like, I will spend a time not even typing in ChatGPT, and what I'll start is like, we need to write this with this kind of tone.
Yeah.
This is your perspective.
Right.
This is your age.
Yeah.
This is kind of how I would like to see the results.
That's what freaked out my team. Oh man.
But
all of those things freaked out my team.
And then I said, anything below this line is context to build the narrative that we're about to do. And then I will spend the time, which I almost feel like I write out what ChatGPT would write, but in my stupid humanly done way. And so I'm about 3 paragraphs in, about an hour in just on the prompt itself, and then I hit submit. When the prompt dumps out, what I do is I'm like, okay, half of this is bullshit, and then half of this I love. And I'll copy and paste that. Usually I'll start to operate off maybe 3 prompts, construct a new prompt, take the prompt again, refeed it back into the platform. And so by the end of it, there's so much of me in it that it's almost like somebody was helping me proofread and dump out a really good insight.
Well, and that's where you get like the assistant, right? It's the assistant side of it. It's giving you things and you're wheedling that down into what the actual good stuff is that you can use for your context.
And so just showing this great ways that you might think about it. Here's the task, here's the audience, and to kind of think about it like a little bit more critically as you start to build these things out. What are all the parameters that you're going to give this robot, this AI, to be able to spit out the thing that you're going to want to do? Totally. And this is where I start to feel like, we're still a little bit further away for be able to do this thing, because if you home in on, I don't know, nutritionist, how do you start building in other like disciplines, other domains of insight into these like different kind of things that it outputs?
To me, it'll be because you have a specific AI that is downloaded or added to your project, right? Mm-hmm. And so then it would know that you are a nutritionist and you want to hear it from a nutritionist because you're building nutritionist websites and you're doing things like that and you're helping people with nutrition. It would just know those things,
right?
Because it was learning and doing, and it was built on everything that you're creating, and it's looking at all of those things. So to me, at some point, you're not even going to give a shit about any of this stuff. You're going to be like, hey, AI that already knows everything about all of the projects that I'm working on, I'm trying to do this. And you're not going to have to tell it that you're a nutritionist.
Well, and that's the thing is that you get to the point we're talking about, like personal AIs.
Yeah.
It will remember all the crap that you've already asked it, and you may be able to say, include this, de-include this thing, because that was really kind of shady. I shouldn't have asked that question.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're going to be pruning it for your perfect thing. But it's going to know, it's going to be trained, because right now, what is it trained on? It's trained on all of the internet. And that's what I want. I want a thing that's trained on all of the knowledge of the entire community of the entire world, right? But then I also want it trained on my little sphere. Like I want it trained on where, what our summer plans are and how old we are and what income we have and all of those things. And then once you include all of that stuff, and then you say, now write me things, or now do stuff for my project, or now come up with plans for my house, then it really knows who you are. Well, and it really knows your project and your organization.
I think that's
coming.
Where we're headed. The question is how much you're gonna have to pay for this, and how is this all gonna be?
It's gonna be the new internet. It's gonna be your new monthly bill that every company pays and every person pays.
Unfortunate. If I had to,
no, but like in some ways it's good. Like I want to be able to pay for something that doesn't give data back to whoever the person is.
So
right?
Is that the thing though?
That's what I think is going to happen. To me, that's my hot take that I've had for a little bit, is that like what's going to happen is everyone's going to be like, holy shit, then all of my data, everything that I know about my company, everything that I know about myself is going to be out there for some Google or OpenAI or whatever.
Go download OpenAI and put it on your like own personal thing. Like I feel like we're gonna have to like.
And that's what you'll do. You'll be like, my shit is air gapped between me and this company, and they're gonna, and whatever company figures that out, that knows that privacy is such a huge part of it, is gonna say, hey, all right, we're air gapping, or we're stopping it from going back to our servers, but it goes in, but it doesn't come out. Right. And so you pay $500 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever that is, so that I can have that thing that's only trained on me, but I know doesn't go out to the fuller world, and protects me and does everything and gives me my stuff.
This is our philosophical rabbit holes we go into, and you get down those.
Totally, I do.
And I do too. I feed you.
Yeah.
So bringing this conversation to a point of like where we're at today.
Yes.
And so we can kind of continue, so we can make sure we get to some of these other awesome topics, because I love this topic.
We have 15 minutes.
I just want to let you know is that you're getting to see the Adam and Ryan show in live and recording. Like this shit happens naturally.
This is what our conversations
this is
us.
Typically be. You're getting to see Adam and Ryan like in reality, and we will take that down for another hour of conversation of philosophical kind of pieces. But as far as like the ChatGPT, if you're using it, just a quick bit of tips, and this was something that was interesting that I found, is that number one, you can definitely edit your prompts from above, and if you do that, then it just redoes the answer. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
And then what you can do is it gives you versions, so you can say, hey, what did this look like? What is this next thing? So
we gotta have it. Wait, switch it back. Put it on the screen.
Oh, pull it down. Just pull it down
for the people who are watching live.
Final 104.93 nugs.
Wow. That was a whooping.
They kept the lead the entire time.
Man.
Let's just be honest on that one.
Miami Heat.
So that's good. So finals game
Dang.
one, Denver
Game
in the
one.
lead. Let's keep that up. Now
Love it.
everyone get on to Adam Ryan's show. We already saw the sweet nuggets and basketball going on. Now let's talk about sweet AI and how that's going to change basketball in the future. Probably
It
not.
will. It will.
Athletics is going to be the only. You know what? I'm gonna say where it is changing athletics is probably in the way that it and to, like baseball. Went to the baseball game.
Mm-hmm.
When pitches are being thrown, not only do you have the speed, but
Sure.
the type of pitch,
Yep.
the way that AI's got to be doing some parts of that.
100% is doing all of that. And in fact, they wanted to basically throw out umpires because like in what you don't need
No.
humans for any of that. Like it knows if that's a strike or a
But
ball.
here and so I know we're totally squirreling on this, but thanks for the heads up about Nugs. But
Yeah, that's good.
as far as athletics, like where's the line? Where's the line where we say, you know what, a human making an error or a human making the
Right,
call
that's
makes
part of
it
it.
fun.
Right.
That's
what
what-
part
that's
of it. It's
part
part
of
of
the
the
thing.
like because like if you had a robot pitcher, right? It
Yeah.
could just be a howitzer on the top of robot legs, and it could be pumping it in a 1,000-mile-an-hour fastball. Like so, at that point, you're like, you know, who cares? So then one step away from that is like robot umpires, right? And having absolutely no, like knowing from the micron whether or not somebody was out or something was a strike. And so they've kind of gone in between at this point with
It's-
new rules in baseball,
it-
which I follow baseball quite a bit.
I know
so.
you do, and I was like, I'm gonna light the baseball
I know,
fire under
totally.
Ryan and
It's
talk
true.
about this.
Because we're in the heat of baseball season
It
right
is
now.
a big deal right now.
Totally.
So as we kind of close our conversation on AI, at least
Yeah.
some of where we're at right now, one of the things about ChatGPT that I'm glad you're learning about this is that
Mm-hmm.
when you're in it, and we'll jump into it in a second, and I'll show you some of these features. But
Cool.
you can edit prior responses, and then it changes the dynamic of what happens after
Interesting.
it. And they've added a copy your conversation button.
That part I feel is real big.
They've added a share link, but this was one that I don't think a lot of people know, and I don't know how to. I've used it but the temperature settings.
I have used that a little bit. When I explain it to people brand new, I typically use the playground first, which
Fair.
lets you adjust those temperature settings. And so I typically explain it a little bit.
So if you have not heard about it, basically it's a scale of 0.1 to 1, and a lower value just gives you really generic results. Higher value gives you very unpredictable creative results as you go through this.
When you do lower, it oftentimes repeats whatever your question was. Like it doesn't know where to go.
And the
Like,
example shows that I like to eat, right? I like to eat. I like to eat.
Yeah, exactly. It just sort of goes, I don't really know what you're talking about.
So
And then when you do it at the high end, it typically gives you
1.0.
like, oh yeah, well,
really puts a lot of
it doesn't even, it's like head in the clouds shit.
So if you're using ChatGPT, hopefully you take a little bit away from this is that you can use it way more in depth than you can think.
Totally.
A lot of people get afraid of it. They don't understand what the hell's going on. If I can get Eric on the stream, who's the guy that I'm keep talking about,
Ooh, yeah.
like he is a genius. I'm gonna just say that right now on the stream, and I know he would just be humble about that. But the guy knows so much, and what we'd like to do is bring him
Is
on
this
the
about
stream.
AI? He knows a lot
100%.
about, okay.
Like he's not even an AI guy, but he was like, he's like, I didn't really research AI, but this is exactly, and then he goes into exactly how AI works, and he did,
Nice.
and so I think the lens that he's able to give was, here's how AI is working behind the scenes to a level of like the technical side, but then he translated it so humans can understand it.
Nice.
And so what I did is I had a good conversation with this guy, and he helped me understand, because I was like, okay, I know you're a researcher, and so he's a PhD. His
Cool.
freaking PhD. Just to side note on this,
Yeah.
I can't even say the title of his dissertation because I don't even know, like,
There's
how
too
to
many
say
big
it.
words in
But
there for Adam.
He's a particle physicist that essentially researched when two particles collide, like how they specifically are kind of measured and where certain particles go. And he couldn't do it from the collision, but where the splatter of the collision happened in.
You get too much. You get 3 sentences into particle physics, and I don't know what's happening.
And so I love the fact his girlfriend is looking at microscopic crystals on Titan's moon.
Well, you know, what do you
Like-
talk about as a couple? If
That's
the other
awesome.
ones, if
It's
the other
amazing.
one's going into,
I'm just
you know.
saying it's amazing. And so his expertise to be able to bring in just to give us some insight from like a technical lens on
that's
AI is amazing.
That's what I would always what I want to hear from experts in the field is where they think it's going, right? Like where they think the barriers are, where do they think the bad things are happening, because I feel like I trust those people to know about it, like have a deep understanding of it. And if they're like, it's fine, these large language models are going to peter out at a certain point, like, which I've heard.
Yeah.
You know, I have heard that like you're not going to get to artificial general intelligence by large language models.
No,
like,
I don't
that's
think so either.
Right. And so you go, okay, well, they sort of peter out at a certain point, and then we get a certain amount of like leeway where jobs can catch up and all of those type of things. Like if that's the case, I always like hearing that from
well, and it's good, and they have, I think, a better kind of gauge on like how quickly this is being built out. He helped build a supercomputer where people run AIs off of. So that old
PhD thesis.
So what I'm saying is, I feel like I trust some of his things, and he's kind of like, yeah, people don't understand. Like,
cool.
Where is
I would be excited to.
I will go down.
So I already have questions for Sam Ebersol, who I think is going to be on the show at some point. I've been formulating questions about his, you know, he put a article in the Chieftain and stuff talking about AI. I would love to hear his take on students and what they're thinking about AI and where media and like all of his stuff that he does, where he thinks that is going to go. I'm excited about that too.
I think there's a lot of opportunity, and so I think that's a new trend.
We got to tap into Adam's network, Adam's sweet ass network of people who care about this, which is awesome.
So I think this is also an evolution of Adam and Ryan show. We talked right about here is that this is the headliner show for our channel.
Totally.
We're still gonna like fill in some of the details in between there, but we'd really like to start homing in on what you guys like.
Yeah.
What you don't like.
What you want to hear about, right? Who you want to hear it from.
We cut off the gaming part at the end here.
Because we're moving over to gaming in other parts of the channel, right? So those are sort of the side pieces.
So if there's something you like, let us know. If there's something you hate, let us know too. Like we want to know both sides of it. If there's something that you would appreciate, we love the vamp about this because at this point we are in it to win it. We are here to understand it, and we're gonna share as much as we can, and so we could be that kind of vehicle for you to understand like what we're finding out.
Yeah.
So, which is a great transition to Adam's creepy AI video of the week. We got one.
Wonderful.
So
I haven't seen this.
You have not.
This is gonna be hot takes.
It's gonna be terrible.
I'm not even looking. It's on the side screen, and I see that there are dogs involved, but I haven't. But other than that, I don't know.
I think Heather has seen this one, so let's look at this.
So what is it? Well, set this up a little.
All right, so what I like to do is I like to see the progress here, and so this was like, how well can an AI generate dogs is really what this came down to.
Was there a specific AI that did this? Do you know?
It was generated by AI. No, I don't remember what the one it was. We can go and look at let's take a quick peek. Did it say in the thing? Where is show more here? There's some songs there. How do we look at what people even talked about with this? It feels like YouTube is...
Yeah, YouTube's going through a whole UI thing that people are pissed about.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Take away that whole menu, and then I think it shows the...
You have to do this, right? Oh, shit. No, that wasn't the right one. Who is this one? The mini player. Oh, my God. I feel like I'm an old person.
How does this YouTube work?
The damn YouTube.
You watch, like, scroll down.
This is only a minute and 18 seconds. Yeah, it's right
here. So
see
this entire thing, just make that go away.
Yeah, it's gone.
There you go. Oh, it doesn't have a...
They usually have a thing.
Description.
Right? Yeah, that's the thing. The description's not there. I think it was literally here. This is it. There's music. There's some things in it. There's nothing more that I'm seeing. So anyways, an AI generated this, and I suspect it's not just a whole video, but this is what dogs look like. Let's just jump into it. Let's get into it.
Okay.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I mean, that's like teeth of
just
dogs.
Just with their mouth
right?
open. Like the
backwards doesn't... It literally is like a freaky dream for sure.
I mean, you got the people. Oh, that dude just turned into a dog.
Turned into a dog.
It's like dogs barking, so they can only do it with its mouth open. Man. This is creepy. I'm telling you, creepy
totally,
AI.
Totally.
But the fact that it's getting closer,
Yeah.
like in a year
'Cause
from now, we're gonna be like
totally,
perfect,
that's what-
awesome videos.
Yeah, it's gonna be the next friggin'
Look at that!
invasion.
It turned into a guy. He came out of his booty. Oh.
Like this is the precursor to the next Avengers movie in a year, right?
Yes.
The next Marvel like cinematic universe will be created in AI.
This is so creepy. I'm telling you. What the hell? Oh my god! It looks. See, I'm telling you, I find the creepy videos for y'all, so you can see this stuff.
It's good. It's no Will Smith eating spaghetti, but I'll accept it.
This is the next level, man. People love dogs.
Yeah, because it just doesn't know at this point. Here's
he's
what I
just
would
like,
say.
"Dogs
Here's what I would
jumping?"
say. This is exactly what
That was it.
image generation looked like.
What'd you
2
think?
years ago.
What did you think of the dogs? Anybody have any hot takes on the dogs? Do we need to watch the dog video just one
Why
more
is
time?
there like creepy dystopian music in the background?
I think
too?
it's kind of like I wonder if they like purposely try to make it as creepy as they possibly can.
I was wondering.
I'm gonna still find
As
these.
part of the dog,
but
and
the
then
fact
disappeared.
that see, I love how the guy goes like, "Whoop! I'm a
And
dog
then he
now."
just becomes a dog, yeah. Because all it's doing is it's taking one image and then replicating it out over
But it's a video,
60 images,
right?
Right. But every video is just 60 like every 2-second video is just how many images, right? 150 images. Yeah. So it's just taking whatever could be the next thing and moving that into something else.
Just like the
Yeah.
people becoming parts of dogs, like
Yeah,
it
that's
still
good.
has a lot. So this is what helps me be like, yeah, I don't got it stuff together at
Totally.
this point.
Yeah, it's not video.
Actually-
It's not video. ready.
Actually, that's a good segue into a conversation I was having. Yeah, that's creepy. Let me turn that video, that creepy music down. Is there was a guy that was talking about it from the video side of Hollywood, and they're
Okay.
like, no way is AI gonna take over it. The amount of effort that goes into a singular shot over the course of like months
Yeah.
is intense. Like the lighting, the amount of times that they shoot that shot, all the different things and pieces and parts of making that. They're like, there is no way
Did you
AI is
see-
even close to that.
Did you see the director of Avatar, the new Avatar, right? Like James Cameron.
Yeah.
He had an interview because he doesn't give a shit. He is super rich. He just gives interviews and talks about whatever. And he was saying that like, you know, they would show him a shot, a single shot from Avatar, The Way of Water. And they'd be like, oh, this is shot number, version 287. And he was like, that's the 287th time they've shown it to me. So internally, they have way more than 287 versions of this second and a half shot from this. This is the 287th time they showed it to me, the director, and I'm commenting on it. And you're like, oh my God. That's the amount of effort that goes into that. But I also think that like a team that dedicated, then also using these types of tools, like the amount of creativity that we're going to get is insane.
I think what it does is it extends us now. It's not a replacement. It just extends us. And one of the other things, and then we're going to transition to some other cool generative AI, and we're going to start getting to some actual practical hands-on tonight, which is
Hands-on.
an Adam and Ryan show kind of thing that we do. We don't just
Core.
vamp about it. We
Yeah.
do it. Is that as we start to use these tools and we start to kind of build out different things, it's I think that's number one. There's going to be people that are really good at building out tools, and I think that's what's going to kind of separate us and know how to leverage some of those. But there are some interesting tools that are going to like create new ways of thinking, and I think the transition here is talking about how generative AI and infill generation has been something that's been pretty big. And so if you're not familiar with it, if you take a shot, like a picture, and you say, here is where the boundaries are. And so let's get, you have probably millions of pictures from your youth before even the internet came out.
Yes.
And you want to be like, what the hell was it like in this scene outside of this?
Yeah.
How do you get to that? Well, generative AI is going to help you start to think about what it could look like outside of that. And you can kind of tweak it as you go along.
Shift changing. I like that.
Hell yeah. So here's the deal. If you're familiar with memes or memes or whatever the hell you call them online, it's memes. Memes a thing.
I
right?
do. Yeah. I feel like that's
the
memes.
the de facto standard. What we're gonna look
Maybe
at
the cool kids do other things, but
is we're gonna talk about memes and we're going to look at a few of them. So if you're not familiar with this meme, we're going to go through them a couple times. The box that you see, the white box, indicates the actual picture that's out there. Everything outside the box on the outside is AI generated. So if you haven't seen this picture before, it's a very popular meme online. It's the girlfriend looking at the guy that's like, what the fish? Why is he looking at this girl?
Yeah.
This just expands that picture. Now think about this. This picture looked basically, and I don't know if I could zoom in enough to see it in a
to
way.
get it.
But this is like what the picture essentially looked like.
Sure.
There was no other parts of this picture.
Yep.
And now it generated this background.
It's that background fill in.
But
right,
here's
that
the
they
deal.
do.
It's like if you're looking at the picture from just that part, it created this entire building. It created this like guy. It created all these other things that you know, it's a lot. It's a lot to throw it in there.
I do think so. So I was playing with this with the new, like, and we're going to get into it a little bit, into like the Adobe Photoshop generative fill. And I was doing some of the same stuff where I was like, here's a very small version of where I'm at, and like expand this out. And in certain ways it did it great. But I would say what this doesn't show is the effort that went into making this, because what you can't do is just be like, take this meme, blow this up even bigger. One click, make it bigger. Like, give me more outside stuff.
Things.
Give me outside things. Like, it does not work like that.
From what I understand is all of the ones we're looking at is done with Photoshop. These are all Photoshop AI generated infill, just to give context for which platform's using this. And so I am just impressed because and I'm going to do the zoom in thing. Like, if you're just seeing this guy right now, this is all you're basically seeing.
Sure.
The fact that it could build his entire shirt and like his arm being in the right direction and all of that, like, it's impressive to me that like it's able to do this kind of a thing.
I would just also say that you could, from what I've played with of Adobe Photoshop, the generative fill like this would still take hours to do, right? Like, it would still be messing with it and getting just this certain part right, and then be like, great, now I have that part set with his arm, and it looks like a jacket like that. Now build the rest of this where it does his shoulder and everything. It is definitely not just like, make me the background and
just,
then you're in
there
good.
Well, see, that's why you have experts in here, and you're giving it the context of what it takes to get to this.
Totally.
The fact that you can get to this though,
is pretty great.
That's where we're at. So
100%.
we have 10 of these memes that we're gonna go through.
Nice.
And so we maybe won't zoom into every single one of them because you get the concept. But the fact that, like, okay, first, number one, this guy is legless. He doesn't have any legs at this point,
true.
so that didn't necessarily make it.
That didn't make it in.
But what I'm so impressed with is how it kind of like, it takes the color schemes, it fills in, and like it legitly looks like that's actually what it would look like. There's some blur on the floor here that maybe not the best or whatnot, but it's still awesome. Let's take a look at some other ones here.
Him with like what is happening in the background down and to the right?
Like, he was obviously in a studio, so it's giving you that kind of studio-esque kind of feel to it. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But I mean, these are all memes, and so this one was a highly debated one. What kind of vehicle is this person in?
She's like on a bus headed to Mars.
It's like a Mars rover bus plane, and like, what is in the background there? Like,
because it's just being like, apparently in this situation, people in pink outfits sit in chairs and are strapped in.
See, what but the impressive part is like her arms. Look, it was one little piece of her flesh on that
and
left shoulder.
And it knew like what
and
a
it
little
built
girl.
it out. Like like if you didn't know and you cropped that little girl out, you'd be it's a little girl's picture. Like, and
because like I don't know what's exactly happening at the bottom near her dress, right? Like, or what that whole section is necessarily, but it's good enough for government work.
This one was interesting because it's the classic pieces of the meme of the point in the cat thing. But look, it made the whole thing.
It was like, there's also a lady yelling in the background.
And a guy that had some
he
just
thinks this is hilarious.
Yeah, and just a random hand out of nowhere that got kind of filled in.
Yep.
So you're good.
I wonder if that was in the original. So that's got to be
that
was
in the original,
hand.
but it never filled it in. So this is what's cool. I'm glad you hadn't seen this because this is fun to go through. This one's a classic one because usually this one I gotta zoom in on this one. It is
changed my mind.
It is
where you
just
fill in-
it is
fill in
just
the
this
top.
guy right here, and then somebody always puts something in there, and then I mean it's like
And I feel like
that seems
you
realistic.
could
almost.
Photoshop that in, right? Like,
Oh, yeah, you
like
could.
we could go in, and it would probably be better because I would extend the because right now what happens to the brick?
Yeah.
It just fades away into
Nothing.
indiscernible concrete. Like you would build out the brick and you would make it larger as it came through, so you would scale it out, and so it's not there yet. This is all the things where you go, hey, it's not there yet.
But the fact that it gives you like I feel like this is a real place. It's like so close that you could almost say
It's because
like,
your brain just fills in things.
It
right?
does.
It just goes like, hey, this is a background and these things line up, and like that's good enough.
I thought this one was good.
Yeah,
Honestly.
that one's good.
Because the bed, it filling it in all the pieces, the sheets on
That's
it,
good.
really good kind of perspective there.
Yep.
It's funny that he's on the phone. It almost actually makes it more sense that he would be on the phone in that one.
Well, that's what they. Oh yeah, I guess in the real one, he's not on his phone, right?
This one,
Yeah.
like the fact that she has a shirt, hand in pocket, like the fire actually
Yeah.
burning in the background like that, super great.
It's fun.
I feel like they
It's
did a
fun.
good job.
Yeah, that shirt makes no sense. Of
Yeah,
course.
like you can't even tell any of the words on it. Let's see that.
Yeah, that's
It's like a little like tag or whatnot. But like, that's the thing about this is that on a glance, and let's take it in the future, you're looking at the ads of something or whatnot. Like, you would probably not question that in a glance.
Well, so the cool thing about like I've been watching some videos on the Photoshop done there. So what the cool thing about it is it's not destructive. So it's just creating layers inside of that are masked. And then have this new section, right? So then, one of the things that they're talking about is how important it is the layers that you do and what level that you do. Because if I say add some hair in, but it's not the right jacket that I have, right? Or it's not the right color, or it's not the right shape, then it's going to put the hair in a weird direction. So you have to be like, I'm going to do the undergarments first, and then I'm going to do stuff on top of that in my layers, and then I'm going to do the hair last because I want it to flow naturally over the top of whatever that image is.
Sure.
And so it's the same sort of thing with this, right? Is you're like, oh, I'm taking this section and I'm being like, yes, but like I also want the arm to come down and it has to go over where he's clicking the button, right?
Well, and that's where the humans come in.
Yeah,
and we do that. Last one, obviously a cartoon.
Yeah.
Twisted arm, not the best.
Yeah, it's like it's the wrong way. He really should be on the opposite side of that because it's his right arm.
But
as opposed to his left
I
arm.
loved the concept that we're close to where generative AI can do that kind of thing. Like
Yep.
I think that's amazing.
Totally.
I think we're at a point where things are growing, and if we're there now, and one of the things that I said earlier, right before we started the show, how many sweet like tape or CD album. I mean, if you were even back in the day, like album covers,
record album, or
which,
record covers.
You put that in there, and then it builds out all the craziness outside of that. That would be so
just
sweet.
for a fun like thought experiment at that point, right? You're just like, yeah, I know this is a iconic picture. What's going on outside that picture? It's fun.
All right, we are now at the point where we get some hands on, right?
Yeah.
Transition time. If you need to take a break, go to the bathroom, go get that done right now.
I do need to do that.
I already knew you did. I knew you did. So I'd vamp a little bit about.
You're gonna vamp a little bit, right?
And we're gonna get into the next point where we're gonna start building out. Yeah, go ahead and out. We're gonna go start building out some new meeples. So if you weren't with us the last time, a meeple is a small game piece for our game board. And we've been using Midjourney to be able to come up with these meeples. They're basically outlines of different characters. We go ahead and do a little bit of treatment in that and build those out, print them, and we have some cool game pieces. So if you haven't seen it, this is our game board. Let's get our little names off of there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go head back there, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what we got on some of our game boards. So let me see if I can get this up, and we can get the back down there. I can't remember if I can figure this one out. Oh, there it is. We will see you back on the game board. All right. Oh shit. Of course it messes up at the last minute. Do we have a GoPro? We'll get that figured out in just a second. So I'm on the game board. You can see my sweet tattoo as I turn off my GoPro. But what we got on here is a lot of our pieces. And so last time, what you didn't see is our ability to go ahead and build out or print out the final printouts of our games. And so here is our Inca gingerbread man. If you see that. So let's see if we can put that in front of this little guy. Inca gingerbread man. Looking awesome. We had, let's see here. We can probably put this. This is one of our elves. Zombie elves that we created last time. Pretty cool. I mean, they like, we thought we were going to have to tweak and do some additional stuff. Like, I think we nailed it. We got the meeple for all of our enemies. We're going to have to finish out some of our meeples today and get some of those out. So here was our robotic Miss Claus. Looking super sick. And Talon, like, you nailed it. Like, this is like the sweetest filament that you could have possibly got. So Talon gave me some filament for Christmas, and it's this dichromatic filament. Because we printed a lot of our pieces out in. We have, I like this one. This is probably one of my faves. This is our evil Santa, and
it does kind of look like he has some little junk hanging down.
He does. He's got some balls down on that. But one of the cool things is that he has like some sort of like sword on one hand that looks like a cross, and another one. But we nailed that. So we have a polar bear, which I actually printed out the first time, which actually looks like more of like a goat. And so I'm not sure this is actually our polar bear, but no. I've been like saying it is our polar bear.
Okay.
So we have three things. We have a killer Krampus.
Mm-hmm.
We got the Xmas light snake, and if you want to, we need to get to the polar plague bear. And so, Ryan, what I was just basically doing is getting everyone kind of acquainted with what we have in terms of the printouts and where we're at with the board.
Perfect. Do you want to do on camera here, like bringing up the last two?
Yeah, we need to do that.
Guys that I built. So Adam texted me earlier in the week and was like, we need a Krampus and we need a light snake because those are the last two. And I was like, great. At first I was just gonna, noun project those outlines, those silhouettes. And then I was like, no, we are doing this. We have done all of these through AI. And so I used Adobe Firefly and I went in and I said, hey, create me some silhouettes of these type of characters. I stole some of the language a little bit from the Discord where Adam did those prompts in Midjourney before, and I was like, great, make me a Krampus. And it was very good. I was like, man, this is very on par with Midjourney, and also making me ditch Stable Diffusion completely.
Because Midjourney was doing good?
Midjourney was doing good, right? Like it had, I mean, if you were on the show last time, like it had a bunch of, here's how actually, like, it would give you a series of different types of vector images that then we could vectorize, and it's still a bitmap, right? It's still in pixels, but we could vectorize it in Illustrator at that point. And so I did that for Krampus. So do you want to do Krampus first?
Yeah, we're totally going to do that. Let's take a peek here. So what do we got?
So this was the final Krampus. Like, I did a few iterations. We can look at those in Trello if you want to. The actual like Adobe Firefox or Firefly versions that it gave me. But this one I liked. One, because of the gigantic horns, because I feel like that's very Krampus style. He's got a bag next to him, which I feel like Krampus is big about, like, isn't it about like stealing children or doing something with, I don't know. It's a bag.
What's Krampus's backstory? Somebody's got to be able to help us in the chat.
Yeah.
You got to see this on the stream. What is Krampus all about?
I watched a horror movie about Krampus at one point, like years ago, with Kathy, and I think it was about stealing bad children. Like, basically he was like the anti-Santa. So if you were good, you got presents from Santa. And
Yeah.
if you were bad, you got freaking grabbed in the middle of the night by Krampus and taken
Oh my
back
God,
to hell.
that's
or whatever.
terrible.
Yeah, no. It was awful. It was supposed to be, it was the stick part of Christmas that we lost out on. We kept only the
And don't
carrot.
be bad because Krampus is gonna get you ass.
Exactly. Yeah, not just like, oh, you're gonna get It's about people who don't believe and are shitty. Yeah, that makes
Fair
sense.
enough. He kills the bad people, right?
And it's specifically about children too. So anyway, I liked his little bag. I like there was a spike out of it. All of that stuff. I don't know if you want to. Do you want to look at the other versions, or we?
Sure.
we
I
could
mean, we
pass
can do
that.
whatever we want to do. We want to bring in. So, did you do that in the board game piece? Or?
No, I did it in Trello. I just added it to Trello because it was.
So these
they
are
were just images.
These are the Trello ones.
But there was a bunch of
Oh.
ah, light snake. So, oh, he doesn't kill them. He keeps them, and now he's like their child slaves.
Oh my God, that sounds terrible. He's not a priest, is he? I'm sorry.
He could be.
Bad
He could
joke,
be.
bad
Too soon, Adam.
You're like, you're gonna get us kicked off the street. You know what?
Yeah, like
Whatever.
if that's what gets me kicked off the street, so be it.
So where are they at?
In Trello, this is Discord.
Gosh, son of a. There's too many words out there. I feel
There's
like
too many app names for me to.
damn Trellos. I need to get them Trellos. Wait, oh shit! I don't even have my Trello up. If you've never used Trello,
So I did have to add the footer to him, which I don't think is the same as the other footers.
Oh wait, we got some history
Yeah,
on
okay.
Krampus. Give us this
Somebody-
history. He is originated in Germany. Krampen with Claw.
Okay.
Ooh, we need to get a
like
claw on
Santa
that.
Claus. No,
I get
like
you.
Santa Claus.
And so he was part of pagan rituals. Winter solstice. Yeah, so it's not even tied to like that story. According to legend, he's the son of Hell, the Norse
sweet.
god of the underworld. Hell yeah!
Perfect.
So he is like
He's
literally
perfect.
He's like legitly from hell.
Yeah,
Good-
that's
good job,
great.
Krampus.
We needed that. I'm glad we added Krampus to the evil list, the enemy list.
Yeah, and he is like
You're just Googling Trello?
Hey man, I hit Trello and look, it's already there. We're getting there. Hey,
All right.
You had to show people behind the scenes.
It's funny. It's
all-
funny. It's funny. It's funny because Adam presents as such like the tech expert, and then when I just watch him go over and go into the Google search and write Trello,
And I
so it'll come
misspelled
up
it too.
and misspell it with one L. It's just I gotta
Oh.
call it out.
No, that's good. All right. Oh, there's 16
There's
hidden.
16
I didn't
in
even
Travis.
see
Okay,
these.
so these
Oh
are
my
this
God.
is basically what Adobe. So these are the ones,
This one looks badass. He looks
well,
like
that one's like a goat,
moose. It's a
right?
moose.
Like it's a moose. Yeah.
Moose.
So I thought
That's kind of cool.
yeah, or I thought even the one straight below him was pretty good. Like that
Oh,
was a
yeah.
pretty. But I just thought those horns. That feels like
No,
so
I'm
iconic.
down with the horns.
So skip to the next one. This is another one that it came up with for Firefly, vector silhouette images of Krampus.
It's
what
very,
is this?
very like dogged and
Yeah, like
animal-like.
almost like a werewolf. Like
there's those claws.
yeah.
Got
Yeah.
a sword.
So anyway, and there were also these were the best ones, right? So
Some bad ones in there.
and this one I almost had at first. I almost did the middle right,
guy
like
here.
column
He's
3.
kind of cool. He's like, I could totally see Ryan picking that one. He's like, oh, he's so cute.
He's
Look
so
at that
cute.
cartoon.
But then I was like, does Krampus have wings? And so I Googled it, and Krampus does not have wings. And so I was like, well, do we really want wings on a Krampus if that's not a thing that he
Yeah,
does?
I'm really glad you didn't pick that one.
So, and I thought he sort of looked like the elves, right?
He surely did.
Like,
he was
so
too small.
He needed the
Scrawny.
horns. Like, I feel like the silhouette needs to
What's
be
with
dramatic.
this one? Like wings and a little
Wand,
wand.
yeah,
It's like
who
Harry
knows?
Potter if he falls into the radioactive material.
He's
three
like an
horns.
he's like an old timey devil like cartoon for an
Yeah,
ad
not good on
about
that.
something.
Well, I think you nailed it. That
Yeah.
is Krampus.
And so I fixed his feet, right? Because his feet are at an angle. So I
Yeah.
needed them to go sort of straight down and then into it. So I did fix that a little bit, but I mostly left him pretty the same.
that's good. As
So
you should.
Krampus was easy. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I was done with Krampus. And then Light Snake took me another hour in the rest of my life. So Light Snake, you're like, what does a silhouette of a snake with lights on it even mean? You know, like, what does that look like? Is it just little bumps on a snake?
Bubonic plague snake.
So you can see, like,
Oh, yeah.
so, like, here was the prompt. Here was one that I got.
That was a good one.
Snake like with
I like
Christmas
it.
light, which
I
is
like it.
great. But then, like, what does that look like as a silhouette? It's sort of like they has little bumps on them, which isn't great.
No.
You know, here was different ones.
Almost looks like a
Snake with Christmas lights. Yeah,
kinda.
it almost looks like an amoeba or something.
Yeah.
But it's like, how do you make a silhouette look like a silhouette if it's not on the
That's
outside?
karaoke
of it, right?
snake. He's got a bunch of.
Karaoke snake. So I thought that one was, you know, I like that one where it's a little more wrapped around.
That one's looking good. That one's looking like he's making out with a sperm, but
Yeah,
you know,
or something.
whatever.
I don't know exactly what that. But then I also knew it needed to be like, it needs to be able to be 3D printed too.
Yeah.
There was just normal snake. I was like, just show me a snake and I'll add the lights to it once we get to that. That one I thought was good, but again, it's not good as a silhouette or as a 3D print, really.
And it's the snake is lights that just became. What if you started from lights, Christmas lights, and then added a snake
And
head?
then added snake to it.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
that was it. Maybe that was it. So then I had this one. And I was like, that's pretty good because you have like the little strings of lights around it and they're yellowish right now. But if I filled them in to look like that, that's where we got one of the models. But then I was like, man, these things are so tiny. It's never going to be able to print those tiny little like lights around the edges. Like, I don't even know what that would look like in portrait. So then I thought, well, I need some different snakes. I need snakes that are more coiled up.
It.
Oh, and then these, and then
You
so
go to the
so
AI.
then I got. So this was the one with the lights around him, right? You remember that one that we just saw, and this was the very first one with the bumps, basically. And because I thought, well, I needed something that was more coiled up, but I could not get it to give me
So
a
what are the
coiled up
votes?
thing.
Votes right here.
Yeah, I know.
Number
right?
one.
Well, so
Number two.
was number one even work?
Yeah.
Like, how would that even work as a?
Just make a steak and add. Of course, you would add glitter.
Well, it's
Babe,
like the
I know
stuff
you
that
love
we
your-
have, the filament that we're printing on is pretty glittery. To be
glittery.
honest.
But you're thinking from a silhouette standpoint, out of these two models, because I think you did a good job of distilling it down to two.
Yeah.
Do you have the lights that are all kind of like shoved in their heads and making them a thing? And I think you're absolutely right that that's going to be a very thin, potentially not.
Because if you think about it, we're just taking this and then pulling it out further, right? So
Right.
it's almost going to be like weird little tunnels inside of like a larger log almost. If I had to like, because just think about this being extruded from that flat shape. I don't know if that's going to, I don't even think you're going to be able to understand what's happening, right?
I mean, if you have the card that says Christmas
Oh,
Light
yeah, that's
Snake,
true.
you're gonna know
That's
it.
true.
And one of your things is like you wanted to do full on like lights and shit in this thing.
Oh,
Not
yeah,
that we
that
would
would've
do
been
that on
sweet.
the little
That
guy,
would be
but
sweet.
I don't know. Out of the two right now, I am voting number. I actually kind of do like number one. I got to be honest. I like number one.
I mean, number one looks the coolest, right? But I'm
Yep.
just afraid that it's not going to turn out as a 3D print. Whereas number two was me being like, if this had to be a 3D print that could actually look like a snake, maybe that could be it. I don't know.
We'll have to
I
see.
wanted it to be more like, here's what I wanted, and I could not get the AI to do. Was like a coiled up snake, right? Where his body is like all down here, you know, all coiled up. And so all you would see is sort of the layers. And then his head coming out, like ready to strike, but then these little bumps all over him. So it would look like maybe from the outside, and they would have to be the exact shape of Christmas lights, right? Like that bulbous middle to pointy
I
top.
see what you're saying. It would almost be like a coiled little snake with a little rattler on it. If it was a rattlesnake, and then all those other
or
pieces.
the rattler part is then also a light.
See?
Right? Like, so his head is out here and he has those bumps, and then his tail is the light. The rattle is the light, because that would show you like, oh, right, I get it. That's a light. And then I would transfer that knowledge to the rest of the bumps along him and be like, great, he's covered with that. And I could not get that. This is the closest.
I think we're going with number 1, and that's what we're nailing. So we got number 1 on the light snake. We got to get that. So did you save that out as an SVG? Number 1.
I did.
And so you picked number 1 out of these 2?
I added both.
Oh, nice. And we're going to go with the Krampus. So let's do this. Let's get those 2 queued up. We got our enemies printed, or at least we'll have them printed when those are out. And then,
Stealth Mouse, the rattles are the lights, right? And then they just have little Santa hats on or something. That was also a thing that I thought of. It was like, what if just the end of his tail was the light, and then him coming out, and then he just has some sort of like Christmas themed hat on or something. But I couldn't get it to do that either. I was like, damn you, AI. I could make this in the amount of time that I've been fussing around with these prompts.
Well, isn't that the takeaway?
And it is at this point that, yes, that was more frustrating than it was helpful at that point. It couldn't do it. It couldn't do what I wanted it to think. And
I feel bad because I was like, hey, Ryan, make these things. And then I was like, dead silent.
I know. Adam writes me, he goes, dude, we got to have this. You got to make these 2 things. And I was like, great, I will. Nothing from Adam. Fine, sure. You asked the thing. I said it. That we don't need to concentrate. I then say, hey, I made the things and I put it on Trello. Nothing.
I'm just going to publicly apologize for that.
It's
fun.
It's fun. Hey, I get it. We're all adults. You're a grown human being. It's more funny than anything.
I mean, the worst part is I see it and I acknowledge it. I'm like, Ryan would really love a response on this. And I'm like, I just don't have, I don't have 2 seconds to say thanks, dude, or thumbs up, or fuck. Sorry.
Do 1 emoji click. Nice.
Oh, man.
But I have that same problem as doing any leadership stuff. People will be like, oh, and then they write you, and good people write them back and say, great, got your email, totally, love the thing that you did. And I'm just like, who fucking cares? I'm not gonna write them back. Who cares?
I don't have any time. All your folks that are watching this are not happy. Oh wait, it says the shape is larger than Tinker's. Okay, let's do it. The art. Let's hopefully we can import these. I know no one can see this. We're importing it. Here's our little guys from before. Here's Light Snake at a massively huge scale.
Hey,
you did good.
I'm doing things
things
at the max.
You did your best, Ryan. You did your best.
Good try.
So
it's also not a very good it's also doesn't match their floor. Their bases.
Talon, I know you're disappointed right now. I know you're disappointed. You're seeing this, but hey, all we need to do is just get it as an SVG and extrude it. So this was the fastest way to do it.
100%. We're in the prototyping.
What phase. The hell did I just click?
I
clicked the drop apple. Drop the apple. What is drop the apple mean?
SimLab.
All right. I accidentally clicked that instead of import. So we got the light. Oh wait, there's only 2 Light Snake. Did I not download your SVG?
I definitely made an SVG of Krampus.
All right, hold on. We need to get some Krampus SVGs in here.
It's in the Trello, not in Discord. If you're,
I'm definitely in the Trello. I don't see.
Oh,
there's the Krampus. I know. Like the amount of words and weirdness that are out there of like programs anymore is ridiculous. Like let's just name off a couple things as I'm starting to do this. Like I use Trello. I use a thing called Starfish. I use a thing called
Starfish.
Yeah, Starfish.
Yikes.
What other things do you use? Like
Slack.
That's a great one. I mean, crazy ass names.
Monday.
Oh shit, this one might be too big. I don't know if we're gonna be able to do this. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can adjust this and if it's gonna help.
SimLab, interesting. Tap to throw shapes and knock things over.
Oh, it's like it's okay.
Animated.
We got our guys in here, so now we can see it. Now I'll show you. We're gonna show you behind the scenes
Krampus.
as we get through this. We got Krampus and we got Light Snake. So one of the things that
I think Light Snake needs to be smaller unless because he needs to be like the size of.
Oh, I was just getting it down so
okay.
I could kind of see it. Here, we're good.
Elf,
elf sizes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll turn a little SimLab. Oh, nobody even saw the SimLab.
How
underneath of us.
Yeah, it's underneath us. How thick are they? We would probably want to make them all the same
They're
thickness,
nice
right?
and thick.
Oh yeah, you know I like my meeples thick.
All right, yeah, that's gonna be small.
Maybe make him tiny bit bigger. How much is his hit points versus
He
elves?
he was just a couple. He was a couple, like 3, if I remember correctly.
5. So
Okay.
he's slightly more than elves. So he should be slightly bigger than elves.
And so Krampus has got to be bigger than Santa, right? Do you think? Because he's just like more crazy.
I think he's just because he's crazier.
All right.
Not that he's like more
We're good.
brutal.
Do we need
necessarily.
to probably cut off their bottoms a little bit?
Yeah, I mean it doesn't have that same slope.
Yeah, we're just gonna fudge it.
I think at this point we're more just.
I mean,
These aren't the finals.
These are all
you know?
pretty. I feel like we are close to finals right
Well,
now.
but I mean, in the sense of they all should have the exact same size footer and things like that. It'll just be figuring out the SVGs at that
Yeah,
point.
here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna fudge it to get it as close as possible.
Because what I want in the end is like here are 2 files to print.
Oh
right?
hell yeah!
One with like all the little tiles in the background that you get, and here's all the characters in the something.
We're gonna get this close. I'm just gonna make it so it's like about the same height. Yeah, the little we'll fix. These
Yeah, like
up.
how extruded. Does
You
it
won't
need
have to
be?
watch this bullshit on the stream.
Oh, see, nice. Yeah,
It looks close. It looks close enough.
Yeah.
I wonder did Brian join the stream?
I don't know.
Brian out there? If you're not out there, Brian, we're calling you out. You were supposed to be here tonight.
Oh man.
There we go. That looks good. All right, Talon. I know you need to get in there. Maybe
Nice.
learn Blender. We did learn Blender, but here's the deal. Like, when do you use a tool? We're done with this almost. Like, use a tool for what you need it for, right? And in
Totally.
this case, we just needed to extrude something real quick.
Yeah, 100%. Well, but I mean, if he's talking about for the other parts of this game,
Oh, hell
then maybe
yeah.
that's true.
We are
But
totally
you know,
using
even
that.
as I was thinking about it, like it probably doesn't need to be that extensive of a thing, right? Because the
No.
board is pretty simple, and then
Yeah.
you're just adding
There's our guys.
tiles to the board.
Look at that. It's good.
So in some ways, all the stuff is just going to be extruding. All right, great.
I think we got everything we need to do.
Yeah.
So we got, let's go to our
Dazzling
board.
alias Bumble.
I love the name. So this is what, Light Snake? So we're going to say Light Snake. I'm going to put Snake on it.
Just because you're hip with the internet, kids.
I know how this goes. And I saw that Stealth Mouse that you caught another frog. So if you were curious about the frog comment earlier,
Yeah, what?
there is a copious amount of frogs at my wife's house. And
That's awesome.
She tends to like capture those frogs and release them. Because one of her dogs ate,
that's
one,
nice.
ate one
Yeah.
of them one time and got terribly sick.
Well,
So she's very much into it. Look at that. They're all the same size. We're good to
Perfect.
go. All right.
I'm really curious to see how that snake prints.
I feel like it's going to be fine. I think there's going to be some points that, yeah, we're definitely going to have some issues with. But once this loads up, we will be getting our final models in here. Oh, this is perfect. We have the other models. So I'm going to drop in
Oh yeah, cool.
our 2 other meeples.
That's the one we did last time. So,
So, are
those
we-
are from top left,
Oops.
robot Mrs. Claus.
Yeah.
Top right, zombie elves. Bottom left, ink gingerbread man, and then old Saint Nick. Bottom right.
And he's looking pretty dastardly.
I love he has a cross as one hand.
Like technically both hands, if you want to look at it.
Yeah, that's true.
Why are these? Oh, we scaled them in here even. Shit.
Oh man.
What the hell?
I don't know.
How are they so gargantuan?
Are the other ones tinier than they should be?
Did we like adjust their size? Because okay, I think we did. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna ghetto this one. So
Yeah.
we're gonna fix this for you. So when you actually do this, you're not gonna have to mess with a lot of this. So we'll get him to the right size, which is this. He just has. Oh shit. This guy has to be just bigger than Santa,
Yeah,
which is right there. That looks generally good.
totally.
Now, to extrude it a little bit.
And we didn't extrude it enough.
No, we did. The problem was that it was
Not for the scale.
Not for the scale.
I
So when we
see.
extrude it and we sized it down. So the question is, what is that? Is that the Z? I think it's the Z.
That's just to move it, though, right?
Oops. Yeah. No. There's different ways that you could extrude things, and I'm pretty sure.
You almost don't even need to extrude. You just need to like stretch it up.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. So if you do, wait, what does this say? Mirror the model. We don't need that crap.
No.
There's a way that I can click into this and I can do. Oh, that's the position. Hold on. It's change scaling. Here we go. Is that doing it? Yeah, it is. Oh, that's
I think
creating.
it's going. Yeah.
It's the wrong one.
What is blue in this sense? In
I
this,
thought that was. Is that X? Is that X?
I don't know. Usually it has like a little compass in the side to say.
How is that not? I'm pretty damn sure that was Y. Oh, it's doing all of them at once.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
you gotta
uniform scaling.
unlock it.
I was pretty damn sure it was Z. Right? Is this not going up?
I don't think it's going up.
Oh, it is. It's going up. Look at
Just change it to 200.
that. Two.
Oh God, not 200, not 20,000.
Yeah. See, I was right.
Okay. Good.
It is right. Okay, we're good. He got a little bit bigger. I think I moved his.
Maybe
There we go.
like 150.
Actually, if you look at it, and I'm just eyeballing it right now, I bet you it is like 190.
Yeah.
Oh.
You did it all again.
It's because uniform scaling's on there. Oh, and that's
And it reset it back. So now,
how
you're just
shitty
like,
is that?
Yeah, that's
how
not
shitty
good.
is
Yeah,
that?
That's not good. You can't do that. You can't do that program.
You can't do this to us, man. And this one just needs to be at 0. Okay, there we go. No uniform scaling. 190. Enter. What?
Too much.
180. You were right. 150. Is that what you said initially?
150.
Right
Boom.
on the freaking nut. All right, 150. How come that one's not 150, Ryan?
I have no idea what's happening with your shitty software that you purchased for probably $1,000.
You know what? If Talon was still in the chat, he would be like on your
I'm
side.
I'm glad Talon's not in the
No,
chat.
he would be on your side. He would be like, "Yeah,
I'm
Ryan."
glad for you. I'm glad for you he's not in the chat because he would have actual knowledge to put behind
He would be
this.
talking so much mad shit about this. He hates this program because it costs money to purchase.
That's why
it.
I said. I see. That's why I called you out on paying for it. I remembered.
Well, stupidly, I didn't know that you could just get it for free. Okay, so here we go. We got our
They look
pieces
good.
and parts. Those
It's
are
a
good.
prototype.
So what I got to do is I got to take off all the other ones. So we're gonna remove those. We don't want to remove that one. Santa Claus.
Elv.
All
Elv
right.
was spelled like shelv.
Did I spell it wrong?
Like elv, like ELVE as opposed to ELF.
All right, there's our two
Great.
guys. We are ready to print,
Man.
and we are doing that in PLA today, and we will prepare for a print. How long do you think it's gonna take?
2 hours.
Hour and 42 minutes. You're right. Oh shit, we got problems,
Well,
Ryan.
yeah.
We got some problems with those.
He doesn't.
Let's
It's
see.
not connected together.
Let's see where this goes. All the way from the very get go.
Nothing. It never connects.
It connects up on this one and this one.
Still.
Yep, we're gonna have some problems. So what this is, we're gonna still do it. Whatever, we're doing it.
Sure.
We're gonna see how it comes out. But so with the takeaway is we need to just get a little bit more thickness.
See, and I like thickened it up in Photoshop before I brought it in as a vector, but I was like, we need thicker.
Thick. Shit. All right, we're ready to go. I'm saving this to the card.
Great.
This is the only piece that I needed to get done. Now it's going to be all on Ryan. Ryan's running the show from here. So while I get set up on the 3D printer, Ryan's going to acclimate you to Photoshop generative AI.
Oh,
That's what's
yeah.
going to be something that
Oh,
we
I
need to talk
didn't.
about.
Oh, okay, cool. I thought we had skipped over that.
No.
Nice.
So
Oh, that's
here we
part of
go.
it here.
So this is the next
But I don't
step.
have any image. I'm just gonna have to steal images from
You
the.
go stealing
the
images, you
the
need to.
internet.
All right, it's all on Ryan now.
Yeah, nice. So Adam's gonna go to the back. He's gonna start up the 3D printer, I assume, And he's going to be back there to even play the game tonight, I think, while I do some vector work.
Hell yeah, I am.
But in between that time, I'm glad we got to this, because I thought we had almost skipped over this, and I was like, well, maybe we didn't have time. But what this is like, there is a new feature that was just part of sort of the Adobe Firefly beta like website, that you could go in and you could mess with it a little bit on their like browser version of this. But what it is generative fill. And so if you know anything about like Photoshop new features in the last few years, you know that one of those was like content aware fill and content aware move and things like that. And what that would do is, like, let's say you selected a piece inside an image, you would select that, and then let's say I took it away or I moved it to somewhere else, it would look at what was around the image and sort of try to fill in that hole for you. But what this is, it takes it a step further and adds some of that image models, so that what it can do is you can type in what you want it to fill with. So instead of it just filling with whatever it figured out from around the edges, I could say add a old-timey vehicle into the middle of this field, and it could add that for you. What I have found, so let me get into it a little bit. So a generative AI. So I think we're already in there.
Yeah, I think this is it, because we downloaded it right before the show.
Perfect.
For your benefit, by the way.
Yeah. Well, we had to be able to show this off. If I wanted to get into Discord, I would be able to do that, right?
It's right up at the top.
Perfect. So I'm going to go into Discord real quick, and I'm just going to grab some images that I want to be able to mess with in this Photoshop. And so what I have found is these images where it just has like a lot of really itty bitty tiny things, not necessarily all that great yet. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm maybe going to choose Plague Bear. And I'm going to save the images to Adam's, downloads?
Desktop, just do desktop, or wherever you can find it, right?
Downloads is where I usually keep too many things.
There might be some stuff in there that you don't
Well,
no, just kidding. I'm just kidding. We're good.
Oh, man. I've lost the stream of what to look like. Here we go. Is it just, what do you typically use?
You killed the stream, Ryan.
I did.
So we need to do that.
Oh, man. This is a whole, I did that much?
Yeah. Now,
okay.
There you go.
Just don't even mess with anywhere around there. Okay. So I downloaded that, and I'm going to open that in Photoshop. So that was our Plague Bear. That was Midjourney AI created one of our enemies in the game. And I'm going to see it opened nicely on the other screen here. So I'll just take this off until I find where we're at. Okay, here we go. Plague Bear. Nice. It's a pretty good Plague Bear. Say I got it. Okay. There's our Plague Bear. And you notice that, like, I thought this was interesting. This is like a little movable, this is kind of their AI toolbar almost. Like, it's not in with the other tools, like all of this beta stuff. So maybe that's just a beta thing until they actually get it gone in. But I thought this was cool. You could sort of move this around and it'll just stick wherever. So I sort of put it up here to the right. And what I noticed first is like, oh, hey, select subject, remove background. All of those things, we would normally do that in the properties panel. Like that's nothing new. But what I realized first was that you have to select something, and then it will dynamically change that toolbar to that generative AI stuff. And so what do we want to do to this guy? Adam, this Plague Bear, is there anything specific that you want to see?
I mean, how can you make him more plaguey?
Yeah, so
like more of a zombie or something like that? I think that would be really good.
Yeah, like what if we took some of his like arm here and I just selected around this area and we said like this section right here.
Yeah.
And so I watched some of these Adobe Photoshop, like official from Adobe Photoshop videos about this. And one of them was that like it's really particular about the actual space that you're choosing. So it's not going to really go outside of this, and you sort of have to be real careful about where you're choosing this section. The nice thing is this is not destructive though. It's going to make its own stuff off to the side.
layer. I love it.
So let's see.
Agree,
I guess. Okay, we had to agree to something.
I don't know
there.
what we just agreed to, but
Whatever. I'm sure it was something. Okay, so so we want to say like, so we want this part of him to be.
So this
what?
is our prompt, right?
Yeah.
All
So
right.
basically what we're doing is we've selected a section, and now we're saying, what do I want to fill that section with?
Zombie plague. I think
So like zombie plague skin or something?
like fur.
Fur.
Polar bear fur, right? Could we go?
Like what about matted polar bear fur?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. So now what it's going to do is it's going to try to fill in this section with that. And it's going to do the same thing of give us a couple different versions. It's going to be like, hey, do you want these do you want this 1 through 3? Now it doesn't do a great job every time. I'm just going to tell you it's not going to look like, or from my experience, it's not going to look like the thing. So here they are off to the side. Like, see, like that's.
Ooh, that one has some like boils on it.
Yeah, or eyeballs or something. Most of that is pretty terrible.
And it's probably looking at the rest of it, right?
Yeah. So
That looks good better. I mean, I think that third one it like gives it more like crusty, weird.
Oh,
skin
but I want
stuff.
like okay,
All right,
so
fair enough. You
maybe
keep going with it.
zombie plague. Maybe we need like. What if we said like burned and rotten flesh,
Oof.
matted polar bear fur? I don't even know if that's like those words don't go together.
It
but
may
I feel
be like this is not a proper.
oh,
way
it's gonna. Yeah, well, hey, this is gonna be good. Next time I'm gonna say, and baby penises.
Oh God, you just got us banned from
Just
freaking
Twitch.
Banned from Twitch.
I did one where there was a woman and I was like, put a Mariners hat on her, and it could not figure out Mariners. All right,
Oh,
okay,
so burned. Oh, look, you got a bunch of options though too.
That
one's
sure. It's like it's more like a s'more that got burned.
Singed.
He got singed. I just feel like it's almost like snow on his back more than anything.
Let's see what those other ones.
Well, no, these are the first six.
Oh,
So the nice thing is it sort of keeps them all for you.
that's nice.
And you could just keep going through it. I feel like this is not turning out very well. Like this is like that looks terrible. I don't know. To me, that's the best one, and it doesn't look very incorporated into it.
It looks perfect, Ryan. The way it blends in with the skin, I couldn't even tell. I thought it was all. Kidding.
But the nice thing is, see, look, you could see how down here
And I see how it's like
it's changing. It's like updating what this
the mask
goes
is.
inside of this. Well, it's keeping the mask, right? The mask is always the same.
Wait, so what happens when you adjust the mask?
So, actually, I don't know. Should we try?
We should try that. I bet you that it gives you more.
So, like, let's say I wanted to draw more of this mask.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. What if you blend it enough where it just like blends in? I'm feeling like it's going to work.
We just like go around the edges here.
Yeah, look at get that soft little feathered edge.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is going to be interesting to see if it works or not.
Okay. Now, do I need to then regenerate or something?
Did it not? So wait, what's that thing at the bottom? Subtract from mask, add to mask. See the little. Do you have to click one of those?
Subtract to mask, add to mask. I don't know. I don't even know what these are.
That's part of the AI thing, right?
Yeah. So, add to mask, I guess.
Did that do anything? It doesn't look like it did.
Add to mask. I was trying to see if that, like, if I had to draw something out.
Did you could use the normal mask tool?
Well, it just automatically made a mask, right? So I sort of selected a piece, and then it
Right.
went, great, that's the mask, and that's what I'm going to add to it. So it doesn't seem like I can then adjust the mask. Like, can I regenerate based on this mask?
Yeah, that's a
Let's
good
see what
question.
that does. Because this should save these, right? So we won't lose.
And not like any of those are amazing or anything.
Totally, yeah. We're just playing
I love
around.
the idea. Oh, that one actually starts to look a little bit different and better. But to your initial point, it's going to be very selective of what it does. So if you select it, can you actually, all right, how do you stop all of those from being a thing and start it new? Like if you start your mask selection, like when you did your selection,
Yeah.
redo your selection, and before we generate something, I'm just curious. So let's just do this quickly.
Yeah.
Like do your best reselection of that area.
Hey, but do you want like more of the area?
Sure,
Like
like
sort of.
yeah, however you want to build that. I feel like getting the feet might not be a good idea, but
Okay. Let's not do feet then.
because here's my thought is that you should be able to feather that mask, right?
And then before we even
Yeah. See if that does it. Like
oh
now,
God, that was really bad up there at the top, but
well then just go to the mask and then
Yeah.
like fix it up a little bit
okay.
and then feather that. And then while you're doing that, let's see how this looks.
This is my original mask.
Oh, nobody's seeing what you're seeing right now. Hold on.
Okay.
We got a 3D print.
Yeah.
On first layer. Oh shit! I gotta go adjust something.
Oh
Hold on a
man,
second.
this needs baby Z stepped.
You knew.
I've been in this basement enough.
We getting good? You good yet? Oh yeah, there we go. Getting a little closer. Man, I had to go deep. They go deep in this one.
Oh man.
I think we're good though. I think we got there. Get all
See, because it's not making the mask until I add the generative fill.
but it
to
doesn't
which
use
is
your
weird.
original mask.
But it's almost like, well, just like we tried in the last experiment, it wouldn't like update the mask, or it wouldn't update the generative fill based on changes to the mask, which is weird.
So what you're saying is basically it doesn't matter what the mask is, it's not going to feather it.
Or it's like I know you can do select and then you can like feather a mask, right? So can I do that right now?
That's what I was thinking. Before you generate, you feather it. Yes, there you go.
Like, okay, did that feather anything? I don't know, because you can't tell.
Turn it to the mask mode.
Well, because it's not a mask yet, so now it's a mask.
Oh, okay.
And so now am I generating? See, now it doesn't know, right? It needs this with this mask selected. So, okay, so now I have this mask that should have a feather on it at this point.
Generate a fill. Let's see if it goes. So
yeah. So what do we want to try? Like, diseased.
bear. Just like bear skin. Like let's keep it like bear skin. Yeah, just to see what that.
Yeah, maybe diseased isn't the right
Polar
word
bear?
then. What was the word I was using the other?
Oh, I was gonna say that same word. I don't know
what was it. What was it?
It was yeah. Oh man. Derelict.
Derelict. That's right. Well, we can't use that here. That's more for a spaceship, of course.
Oh my goodness.
What is another word for like decomposing?
Sure.
Maybe.
You got to put polar in there, in the bear. Otherwise, it doesn't. I think that's good enough. Let's just see what it does, because we're just testing it out anyway. I love the fact that this is us just DIYing this crap and figuring out how the hell it works.
Yeah, I mean, this is the process that we would go to figure this stuff out.
Like
right?
all the hours of this shit that we do, and then we show up and like, hey, oh, dude, that feathered it. That did that not feather it?
I don't know if it feathered it or this was just a bigger version of this.
Oh man,
I feel like these suck though. Okay, somewhat.
it's getting better.
I
can't
we
tell
just,
if it's feathered though. I can't.
like, just do it again, right? Like sometimes, a lot of the times I'll just be like, "Hey, do it again." You know what the bad part about this is? You can't say choose this one and do ones off of this.
See, like I like this one, but maybe not as a zombie, so to speak. Okay, You're getting
A
closer.
little better.
Actually, that's probably the best so far. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay. So let's
is it.
try this. What if we tried this? I'm gonna save because we don't have to spend all our whole time on this, but
No, it's good just to be able to try it.
yeah. So like, let's say we do this, and then on this new version, I'm gonna save this new version and call it V2. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flatten all of this.
And you're gonna redo it.
E. Control E. Just flatten everything. Oh, because this is locked.
I don't know about that. I feel like it's just the sweet E flatten is not. Wouldn't it be
I
F?
know.
Why would it be E?
I don't know, but it's usually Control E, right? Delete layer. Yes. And then flatten down.
There we go.
Control E. Because that layer was hidden, so it wouldn't let me do it.
Okay.
Okay, so now I have this, and I'm going to do the exact... Oh, I should have said... Wait, hold on.
Oh, Jesus.
I need this. I need to copy this.
How do you even copy a what is that?
And just keep going. Keep flattening down. Oh, it won't let me.
Because I think it has the mask on it. I'm pretty sure.
Because we just flattened this, though.
Just do the image flatten.
Fine.
Use the old way of doing it, Ryan.
It's like I want to just be able to flatten certain layers at a time, though, and you can only do that with Control E. Okay. So then now we should be able to say. I'm thinking, do we just paste that back on?
What is going on here?
I need paste special, I guess. Edit, paste special, paste into place. And then I can select that.
And that's the...
There's our... Supposedly what
I
our
don't even know how you got
is.
that. You did some freaking magic in Photoshop.
Because you're just like trying to add layers and make sure you select the right thing. So now we don't want this, but we want that as what we're selecting.
Okay.
And then we can go in and generative fill. And now we're going to layer on top of this,
So
right?
just-
Which should
I see
hopefully,
what you're saying.
which should
So,
hopefully give us better outputs.
Let me context this. Is that you're
Yeah.
you're essentially you what you've done is you took an original image, you select that image, and you got a little bit of kind of what you're looking for, which is the skin that's going on there. We flattened that out, and we're saying now resample this gross flattened skin, and now do it again.
Yeah, because it probably can get closer to what we want, knowing that this is where we've started to head.
Then
right?
this is the human element that we've been talking about. This is how you it's not gonna just do it. You gotta
100%
iteratively go through this.
Yeah. And if you didn't know how to do any of that in Photoshop, then you just wouldn't be able to do it,
You're
right?
scared. You didn't know. And see, this is the specificity that I think that Midjourney lacks, because you're just like bop 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 bop, poof, there's your thing.
Right.
You're like,
and that's
I
it.
didn't do shit with any of that.
Right.
Like, I want that little piece different, this little piece different.
That's
I'm
what
so
that's what
gonna use this.
that's what imaging and stuff. So, and they even show that in these videos is we're doing it destructively, right? Because now we're adding this as its own thing. But if you just had those as other layers, and then you were like, now turn off this layer and create this part where it is now with just these layers turned off. Now turn them back on, and now you have this thing built out. Anyway, it is very interesting.
It is the layering is a huge component. There's thousands of layers you could probably have in a file to go there. But from our viewer perspective, the idea is that we're just iteratively kind of adjusting. AI got us closer. We're going to do it again. It's almost the same exact thing, plague skin. And it's weird. It's like it's sampling the image and taking what you've been putting on there. I'm going to look at what the 3D printer's doing.
Oh, those horns look good.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good.
I was nervous about it. And then I was like, right, it prints flat, on its back. So I was like, I don't have to worry about it making those horns or doing any of that stuff. I was like, that'll be great. Nice.
Yeah, I think you're going to be fine with that. But getting back to Polar Plague Bear, let's get
okay,
this.
what do we want to say? I don't know if that's exactly. We've sort of almost tried that. What would be something else that we could get to make it look
Just
like
say
he was...
matted bloody fur or something like that.
Oh, I like that. Cool.
I think
White fur? Or we shouldn't have to say that.
No,
it should know what's around
Take the
it.
image is what I'm starting to see.
Yeah.
Because I thought before, like it did do when you did burned. Like burned is blackish, and like with red and yellow and orangey kind of.
But it wasn't like building it into. It didn't have like.
Ooh, that's like creepy.
I don't know if that exactly looks like blood necessarily on there.
It looks like
It looks like somebody threw a beat up carpet over the top of this.
Yeah, he that does.
Hey, all right.
That's it.
All
I
right.
think we've like.
That's pretty good.
If we're getting the card version of Polar Plague Bear, I think you're nailing it. Not that one. No way.
That kind of looks like a wig a little bit. Or
Man, you nailed it in that one. That is it. I think you
Yeah.
got it.
So then you would be like, okay, great. So we hate this one, right? Throw that away. We don't care about that anymore. So now do on top of this, like what should we do up here? So then see how you're just like you're figuring out a part of it, and then you're being like, okay, now let's add the other part. So I'm gonna say like bald.
What would you say, like wrinkled maybe or something like that?
Cool.
Wrinkled. Yeah, maybe just try that.
Try that. We'll see what that does to the top of him. Because it would be cool if it was like as if it was sort of peeling away from his body.
Which would make sense because the top, the weathering, all the things that you would do would hit like maybe that area.
100%. Especially if you were dead already, right? Oh, see, these suck. It's almost like I wish they were slightly better. Like what?
You're like, took the hump away.
Oh man, give me a break. These all suck. Anyway, but I do think it's like a cool place where it's probably
well,
going,
I mean,
right?
you get the spirit of what we're doing. It's like it's not going to be perfect every time. You're going to have to iteratively go through. Save that version because that version's awesome, and I think that we just nailed Polar Plague Bear tonight on the stream. So
those and all AI generated, right? Like that's what I wanted is to us not to just be like, I could go in and make him look like he was bald on the top. Of course we could.
The hilarious part of this is this came from Midjourney, then AI versioned in there. Like, at what point does this become?
That's how this is gonna work, right? Is like these are all just tools that you're gonna use, and you're gonna mess around with it in one thing, and then bring it into another thing, just like you do right now, right? Like you use Photoshop, and then you bring it into Illustrator, and then you bring it back out of Illustrator and into Premiere. Like it's just gonna be another tool.
Just to nail it to the right area until like 2 years from now, where it's like,
oh yeah, where it's completely we didn't even talk about that with what OpenAI predicted.
Where you plug into your brain and it just like spits out some
your
version of what you're
dreams
doing.
Just become reality in VR headsets.
All right, Ryan. So it's board game time. Top of the hour, 5 minutes after 10.
Yeah.
We need to get into some board game play. And so what we're gonna do when we do the board games, I'm gonna jump back on the board game.
Okay.
You did that last time, so we're going to kind of vamp back and forth between board game. I'm going to walk through it. One of the things that we have is we have the enemies this time around. Mm-hmm. We were discussing building a meeple.
Yeah.
And so maybe before I get back there is let's just get like a general like meeple shape through Midjourney.
Yeah,
or what
I was
do you
going to
do
say.
we need to get to first before I
well,
get to
if
the
you
game?
have Midjourney, no,
Which I do. I think you just like subscribed me to something.
I exited out of it. Was the thing. We need Discord, right?
Yeah, there we go. And
So-
we're on the right thing. Now everyone can see that on that. If you put anything on that screen, everyone... Oh, there we go.
There we go. So if I do this one, I should just be able to use
Hell
your
yeah.
account, whatever you're
You're
in,
ready to go.
and do any of
so,
that.
so I think what you should try to do is get like a character meeple outline.
Do we need 4 different characters? Or 6 different? I don't know how many
honestly,
max of players we
feel
were going
like
to have.
There's a couple ways we could approach it. One of the ways that we could do that is colors of the print.
Yeah.
So I think that would be acceptable in my case.
The only bad thing is those are they're gonna have to be different 3D model like files that we give people, because you would say print this all in green, print this all in white.
And typically when you present 3D files, you want to give people every little individual piece, and
really?
then you also give them here's everything if you want to do it all at once. So it's kind of like here's the whole thing. You pick which ones you want to do. So in this case, let's just go and let's start with 2, or maybe let's start with 1.
Good
Let's
night,
make
self.
it simple. Yep. You have a good night. Love you too, babe.
Keep it simple. I like that.
Keep it simple, singular meeple, and then let's start getting some of the logistics of how they would hold items. I think that's a great way to get through this. Like, as long as we're iteratively making our way through, we got all our enemies from last time. And last time we had freaking corks as enemies.
Right.
Now we have enemies.
Now
we need to get our meeple, which is our person, which we had a little pawn that was on there, but now we got to get serious about that. So I'm going to let you type in those things, and then I'm going to get you into the back. Oh, did you want to slug this last little piece?
Sure.
And then that gets out of the way for you? All right, so I'm headed to the 3D printer side, and I'm going to get the game set up in a second. Ryan's going to start doing some AI-generated meeples. I think that's a good way to go for this.
I don't typically know exactly what crazy different prompts we have for this.
It's all the ones above it, so I would use that. That's how we've been doing the meeples before. Inca gingerbread man. So I would probably take that entire
Just take
prompt,
all of this
and then
go imagine. Wait, / imagine.
Yeah, / imagine, and then just click on prompt. I would paste the prompt, and then we have to figure out the first part, like design. There you go.
Meeple.
And we have meeple in there, but like a pawn meeple or a character meeple.
Because I don't think we want horror, sci-fi, Christmas, or any of those things.
Just try it with that first.
Okay.
See how that goes, and then we'll go for the next.
Design a character meeple. Vector silhouette images featuring unique and diverse meeple shapes inspired by horror, Christmas, and sci-fi themes, which that's, of course, the theme of our board game, brought to us by ChatGPT. Each silhouette should be visually appealing, easily distinguishable, and consistent in style. All right. Let's just see what this does. I don't use Midjourney very much. I feel like I was Stable Diffusion for a long time because I had it. I didn't have to pay for it. I could install a version on my own computer and run it off my own video card, which was good enough because I needed that. I needed that video card for video editing and things like that. So I would use that, and then I just feel like it fell off. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if I didn't know how to write the right prompts, but I've been mostly going to Adobe Firefly now just because I can write sort of natural language stuff and I don't have to write this freaking paragraph.
Were you talking about Stable Diffusion?
Yeah. I mean, because I have that version. Kathy and I both have that version installed on our computers.
The one thing about AI right now is, like, I feel like if we could download certain versions before it gets regulated too much and, like, say, here's the sweet Stable Diffusion that works and makes these amazing things.
Yeah, but, I mean, you can't download it in the sense that you're not going to have all of that data on your computer, I don't think.
All the stuff. I mean, maybe you can.
So these, I don't know if you can see this over there, Adam, but they don't look like, they just look like silhouettes of sort of characters, I guess. Do we want them to have the because I don't know if people know what meeples even look like necessarily, but there's a pretty basic here's what meeples look like, right?
Yep.
Meeple characters.
I mean, what you had there is it's a silhouette. Yeah, there's a perfect meeple right there.
Yeah, because they have this sort of like almost star shape. Yeah. And what I loved about our Discord, which if you don't know, join the Discord. We're talking about a bunch of things, but I liked what Mike Azul put in the chat, which was these are meeples.
That's what I think of every time.
This is what I'm like, right when he posted this, I was like, this is it. Because what this is there's holes here on each of their hands. You could a little bit see it here. And then you can fit items into it. And that's what we could have is like a backpack where you're holding a piece of the sleigh or something and it goes in both arms. So that when you have both arms in, you have to abandon everything else. Like I'm thinking that would be a cool, I don't know, gameplay element, right? There are things that you could hold that will help you in a fight or help you, defend yourself. But then if you want to hold a piece to the sleigh, which is one of our like main things that gets you to the end of the game, you got to drop all that other crap and just leave it where you're at.
See, it would be in kind of with our theme of last time. One of the things we were talking about is like you could pick up an item and it'd give you like 2 extra hit points or a shield, or it'd give you a little bit more shield or something like that. But to your point, like, yeah, you'd have to drop it if you want to carry an item out of there or something like that.
Yeah, it's almost like you could get a card. I feel like the card is pick up a shield and add it to your guy, which gives you +5 points until you have to drop it, right? Or something.
Or you just have it.
Or you just have it
You have
forever.
2 little things here. I'm gonna try to go to our duo screen. I want to see if I can get this kind of squared away.
That fisheye camera is cool. Fisheye lens.
I feel like I don't have the right camera here.
Double Atom.
There's that. Oh shit, that was not supposed to be where we're at.
Did you watch my video of that on Discord?
Of which one?
It was the Penny Arcade in Manitou had a flip card peep show.
Like,
we should watch it. It's hilarious.
Oh shoot, this is it. This is what I was hoping for.
Oh,
you got
there
me
it is.
back here.
Oh, perfect.
You in the front.
Nice.
And in the board here. This is the shot for the night.
Amazing.
All right. So a peep show. Wait, are we gonna get?
Well, it's not. There's not even nudity in it.
Okay.
And the fun thing about it is it's basically just a whole bunch of. It's like you crank it.
Oh, nice.
No pun intended. Like to this peep show, and all it's doing is flipping cards to show you an animation of like a whole story on cards. Anyway, it's fun.
All right.
Look for that in the Discord. I'm not going to give it away here. Look for that in the Discord.
Hell yeah, it's a little thing that you need to find. All right, so let's do this. You're going to be working on some of the Meeple characters. I got to get this game started up. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, so what are things that we learned from last time?
Yeah, so let's do a quick rundown of what we learned from last time. So one of the very first things that we learned is that if you start the game with no enemies on the board, it sucks. Because there's not enough action early on.
Yep.
When the enemies start getting on, hell yeah, it's fun as hell. So that was one thing. We were talking about more blackout events where the board goes out.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yep. So do you want to is there a card we could add? Could we say, like, look at the cards that say there are blackout stuff and be like, hey, add 2 more of these cards, right? Like maybe I feel like we need that as like a test, right? Every time we replay the game, we should be testing something.
And so I think what I'm going to do this time is I got my little notepad, which we got a bunch of them, is as we play, I'm going to write the card that we're thinking we need to put in there. And then we'll have to recreate it so we could actually put it in there.
Yeah.
Because I think we got a lot of the cards. You put a lot of cards in here. So I'm just going to shuffle them a little bit.
Yeah.
We got I think a lot
100%, because I feel like we didn't really do that last time. And so we ended up with a couple in a row.
So I will get that shuffled out. And I think that's going to help us
Same
out.
with the event cards. Do the event cards.
Well, these
too.
are events. These are
okay.
events. So we got to do action.
Action.
So I think the next step then, so one of the other things is that we wanted to more define our rule cards so that as you have these rule cards and hit points that we're not like having to flip them back and forth and try to figure out what
right, because you got to be on there.
You got to be on the thing, which was fine. I think I just was trying to, I don't know what the hell I was doing. I did on 2 sides there. Sleigh parts. We talked about that last time.
Yep.
We need to build the sleigh, which is going to happen up in this corner. That's where we kind of build it out, or maybe it's in this bottom corner. One of the things that we're already doing today, building the player meeples, trying to make sure that they can carry some of the things.
Exactly.
We did talk about the enemies being fully printed out. It's going to be much better tonight that we actually have enemies.
Yeah,
I think
because we'll be able to tell them apart. So we'll be able to know which one's Krampus and which one's, Santa.
Warping was okay. So if you're on one side and you're going to go to the next style, you can go off to
Oh,
the
that's
opposite
right.
side.
Okay, so that was, and I feel like that was a little bit, like you said, of our labyrinth background.
Yeah, and I feel that's a good thing to
Totally.
do. One of the things that we did say last time that I thought was pretty interesting, and we hadn't vetted it, is that let's say you're an enemy, and this is where we may have to modify our enemies. And in our current playboard, we do have P's
marked.
and E's.
Enemies and parts.
And so if you're an enemy and you get onto a part, one of the cool things we thought is that you pick up the part.
And the enemy goes, and it goes with the enemy, like he grabbed it.
So you have to fight that enemy to get the part.
Nice.
So it gives like a whole dimension of like, oh shit, now we got to fight Inca Gingerbread Man at 9.
Right.
He's gonna be a pain in the ass.
Exactly. So we gotta prepare for it. I like that.
And then the finding the parts and the paths were a fun part of it. That was actually a really good part of the game, and we like that. And then the final thing is just like, what is our start setup, and is there any ways we can like introduce more puzzly kind of elements to the game, because we thought that was a key part to it.
That's right. So we were thinking, like, I think a simple version of that is one of the parts you have to get by uncovering something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you uncover something, and that says, oh, the final part is at the health bay or whatever, and then you have to get to the health bay to be able, and then you get the part because you've uncovered that clue. That feels like the simplest version. We could definitely do more.
Well, in just kind of leaning into old Resident Evil style kind of like puzzles and things like that, you could say, all right, there's a puzzle or there's a piece in a bay, but to be able to get the piece, you have to make sure there's somebody in 2 of the rooms or something like that.
Sure.
And that unlocks the ability to pick up the part or whatever.
I do like that idea. Well, and it would have to change depending on how many players you had and things like that. But like, I think that could be cool.
All right. So to start with the game, we're going to continue with our 2 people, and we're.
Do you want me to just be doing Illustrator stuff on the other side, or what are you thinking?
Why don't you swap over and why don't you we'll check into your Illustrator stuff as you go along. So we're gonna start.
So
with
it's gonna be mostly Adam, just like talking about going through the game.
So what we can do is like, oh shoot, I need to swap over to you. So you're on screen right now as far as.
No, but I think, like, could you just have my screen as one of the small screens?
I don't even know.
Okay.
Possibly.
Because, like, let's say it was this, but with you at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay, then instead of me, I went to...
I don't think it's going to happen.
My screen can't change
the left duo screen will not be changeable at this point. So.
Well, I won't overstep my bounds here with this setup.
I have a quad screen. Let's see. That kind of does something. I don't know how to make it all work.
I was like, where is that bottom right? What is that even?
I don't know.
Okay.
We will work with that for next time. But I think what we'll do is, like, why don't you work on some of the things, and we're gonna check in with you before we start. So I'm gonna actually have ask you to do some of the parts. But one of the very first things with the game is we're gonna start with our first action, and I'll just pretend that last time we shoved a thing in the head of
how many bad guys are we putting on the screen, or the thing to start with?
We can do all of them today.
Well, so no, I mean, like, you're playing a 2-player game, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So let's do that. Let's put an enemy here.
Yeah, like how? So
I'm gonna start with 2.
Roll the dice. I feel like you got to roll the dice, right, to where he's gonna be.
Oh, that's a nice way to do it.
So then you're going to have 2 enemies because you're playing with 2 people. And so first enemy is wherever.
So it's 2-2, and so if we go 2-2, it would be in this corner. So I'm just going to put him in this corner.
Okay.
And so I guess the question is, which enemies is it going to be? So I'm going to take these enemies off the board, and I think I'm still going to have.
You just got to draw the top 2.
Yeah, I'm agreeing. The problem is that since we're still down 2 enemies,
they're getting printed. I can hear them getting printed.
Yeah, they're coming along quite well too. So I'm gonna get these enemies all squared away. All right, first enemy on the board is, of course, this Killer Krampus being printed.
Of course.
It's gonna be
just use the. Right. It's Santa, right?
We'll throw him to the bottom because we got Evil Santa.
Okay.
Shit. And Zombie Elf.
And Zombie Elf. All right.
Those are our 2 enemies to start the day.
Good. And then roll the dice to where they go?
So the first one is technically 2-2. So if it's Evil Santa, I'm going to put him like in the corner because 2-2 would be here.
Sure.
So I'm going to move him to the corner. Let's get the second one here. 7, 7. Wow, we got doubles. So 7, 7. It's in this corner. Hilarious.
So he goes.
So they're gonna go there.
Yeah.
And that's the elf. Okay. So there's the start of the board. So the question that we had last time, and at least I had, is how do the enemies move? And I actually, after you left, I was like, man, how can that work? And I was wondering, if you have to move every enemy every time, it feels like too much. Like, should it be the closest enemy to the character that has to move, or the closest to, or
I think all of that depends on the fine tuning, right? Like, is it more fun to have more characters coming at you all the time? Because I feel like at some point I almost feel like it was too easy at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we sort of isolated the enemies off to the side, and we were like, we're just going back and forth right over here. Like they're not even getting anywhere near us or anything. So what I don't want to do is like make it even easier on the player characters. I don't know.
So no, that's fine. And so what I think what we could do is one of the decisions we made for last gameplay was that if you're an enemy, and so since they're on these blocks, they got to flip the block, right? Enemies here.
Oh yeah, they have to flip the block that they're on for sure.
So I think we were making discussion is, let's just say hypothetically you're on this block, and let's say it's this Santa that needs to make. You know what I might do for this this playthrough is I'm gonna put the enemies,
lay them flat.
so
That's
you
a
can
good
kind of
idea.
see
Yeah.
who is who.
Yeah.
But if you're this evil Santa, and let's say you're over on this side of the map, and they're gonna move this direction, we were saying that like you had to flip whatever the closest one is, and that's perfect. That's a perfect example. It's not connected. Can they just go to this?
Oh, right. Well, so that's either one of two things. They're allowed to rotate.
Mm-hmm.
So their turn they get to rotate and a move.
Maybe
Or
that's-
they could just go through walls, right? So they get to rotate. They get one rotation, which is either underneath themselves, right, or whatever's connecting, and then they get to move one. And you just do that to every single one. I don't know, maybe that's too hard.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying.
But I
is,
like the idea of them being able to change the map as they go, right?
Yeah.
Like they're
I-
screwing over you and your plans
Correct.
by just getting one space closer each time.
So I think what we'll do is we're gonna have them have similar rules to the characters, and what that rule is gonna be is that they flip a tile, and you always have to get a tile that tries to get them closer to you. So in
Yeah.
this case, for example, let's just pretend that. Well, actually, let's just start it, and I'll show you what the next step is. So I would start the game. I am gonna be guy without the little hat. You'll be the guy with the hat.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick this one, so I'm gonna flip it, and I don't have what I wanted, so I am going to flip up or do a little turn. I'm gonna flip this guy. Ooh, so I can go on my little path. Keep flipping here. Holy shit, I'm getting some path here.
Nice.
All right, so the question is,
Down or left.
I'm gonna keep going this way. All right, so I've finished that part of my turn. I'm gonna get my event card. See what event happens. Hallway blackout. Shit.
Oh, everything behind you gets blacked out.
And so behind me is just this one, right? So this gets blacked
No,
out.
that one and the one connecting it.
You think this is
Yeah,
part of
yeah,
the
because
hallway?
it's a whole. I mean, that's part of the hallway. Like it's everything that's connecting you back.
All right, so I'm done. I'm stuck on that one. So blackout event has happened. A little. I like it. It's like lights. I in my brain, I'm imagining like the lights all flickering.
And then everything behind you,
Yeah.
just going out. Like that feels like it goes with the headcanon.
All right, let's see here. We're taking an action card. Rotate an enemy. Rotate the floor under an enemy. And so, I guess you could pick strategically. Let's just say it was this
Yep.
enemy right here. It would just rotate one way.
Yep. Because that could be a good or bad thing.
Could be good or bad. And so now this is where we have to make the decision on the enemies. I say that you get the closest enemy. I'm going to start with this one. This idea is the closest enemy to the character, which is this guy, gets to pick one of their surrounding tiles. So let's say I pick this one and I flip it. Wonder which way I should have flipped it. Let's say I did it this way. That makes the enemy now be able to get one step closer. You flip one, if the path, and they still have a 90 as an enemy. So let's say I flip this, and it was like let's say it was like this. And you're like, all right, well, you always have to connect it and try to get it closer to the end. So
Yeah, because it's almost like they're the same as the player character.
Yeah.
But they can only move one space.
they always can move one.
So it's like they get a flip, they get a move, same as you, but they can only move one space because they're freaking, shambling monsters.
And that is it. And
that's it.
This one stays.
So you think the person who's closest moves.
So
not all.
I'd say that once you're on the board, that's the amount of enemies that track you. So if this guy gets on the board, now there's 2 enemies that always have to be going towards everyone. If you have 4 people on the board, there's always 4 enemies. If I duck out in a room and I'm still on the board, there's only 1 enemy that
see, the only problem with that's like a lot of complexity to write.
It is a lot of complexity.
into like the instructions
You're
of
right.
this game, right? So I want to make sure that the complexity that we have, because we're gonna have to have complexity, right?
Sure.
Like that we're gonna have to explain that is like the most crucial complexity that we have. But again, we're spitballing here, right? So whatever you want to do for your playthrough, like you are the playthrough master when you're back there.
when you get to make
to
the
try,
decision.
yeah, you get to make the decisions.
At this point, I feel like everything we've done up to this point really makes sense. It feels like it's part of the things. There's already tension because there's people on the board. We had to make that decision that there's people, like there's enemies on the board. Last time we didn't have that. We were just like making paths. And it's like, oh, this is sick. This is easy. Next step is you. Where do you want to go, Ryan?
I'm here, so I'm gonna go 3-8.
Okay. 3-8. And I'll just flip it for you.
Yep. So I'm gonna rotate one, right? I'm gonna use my 90, rotate, and then I'm gonna move down there. Yep, flip that guy. Oh, I'm stuck.
You're on the board though.
Yep.
So let's get your event. Add a nearby enemy. 1 enemy gets added to the board 2 places from the player. All right. Who we
Man, tough. Tough draw.
Got a bad one there. And it's Polar Plague Bear. So 2 places from the enemy could be 1, 2, 1, 2. I don't know if we can consider diagonals.
I think we did last time, but we don't have to.
Which one do you want to do it?
Towards, yeah, diagonal.
All right, we'll do diagonals. So we'll flip this guy. There we go.
Oh, him and his buddy are right next to each other.
Yeah, he's gonna ride the guy. Get him over to you. Okay, throw it to me. You must give another person a sleep heart if you have it, but that's a hold for you. So
Yep.
we're good to go.
Good.
All right, we are on the board, and I will keep this going. Okay, so the last thing is we got to move the enemy. So now here's the question: it's like, I almost feel like this is actually, I think I got it. Is you always, because it's your turn, you just move the closest enemies that are closest to you.
I feel like that all still just depends on how hard or easy it is, right? Like
Sure.
if it's too easy, then you got to move multiple monsters. If it's too easy still, every monster gets moved towards you.
So in my playthrough, Ryan.
So yeah, so that's what it
Let's
just what to think in mind.
I'm
right?
thinking
Keep
the
in mind.
singular one, like the closest enemy gets closer to you. So
Okay.
this is the guy, and I feel that he can only go not I don't think we can go diagonals as far as
No.
like movement.
No way.
Because
Because it's a hallway.
It's a hallway. So we're just gonna flip this one. Oh shit!
And then he
goes-
gets to move
he
one,
goes
and
one,
that's it.
And that's it.
And
We're
that's
done.
it. That's his end of
We're
his
done.
move.
Cool. Actually, I just like it because then I think it's too complex to think about moving every enemy.
Yeah. Well, and again, it'll be how hard or easy it is, right? But I do like the idea of like you moved and some monster in your vicinity heard that
Yeah.
and now is moving towards you, right? Like
100%.
that's a good like horror headcanon thing to be doing.
Yeah, because if you get closer to this guy, let's say that you turn this and you move here, this guy's now chasing you.
Yeah, exactly. So then he would be the one who hears you.
And you could
Right,
always
when
kind
you
of
move.
pick, like, okay, there's two that are within the same distance, like
Sure,
one of them is
whatever.
coming towards you. You got to figure it out, whichever one.
Hey, for this illustrator meeple thing,
Yeah,
how tall are one of these guys so I can know how tall to make the meeples? Like, do you have a
Caliper here.
caliper?
And
I figured. Definitely not Inca gingerbread. More like,
Santa.
yeah.
So Santa is...
Wait, he's out of camera. There we go.
He is going to be at 26 millimeters
26 millimeters.
tall. And then if you wanted to get some width on it, let's see here. $23.
Okay.
Gives you a general gist of where he's at. All right, my turn. I'm gonna flip this. Actually, I'm gonna flip this one. So I got a part because this was the part one. Ooh, and I'm connected to it. So I'm gonna get my little part. Put that on my guy, and I'm still going. Oh shit! There's a guy right next to me. Oh yeah! Getting through it. I'm still good.
It's the nice thing about this game is you know where the enemies are.
Yeah, well, right now, yeah. All right, I'm dropping off a part
What?
because, like, I had no 90s that I had to make. I made it all the way to this room.
But you're not dropping off anything because you haven't collected anything.
I
right?
did. I got a
Oh, you
part.
did.
I got a
Oh, you
part.
did.
I got
Okay.
a part.
Nice.
Because, like, so I just happened to flip it. I got the part, and
Yeah.
then the path made its way there. So I got the part all the
That's
way
great.
to the base.
It's like-
I'm still going now.
Totally. Yeah. Like you haven't used your 90, right?
Look at this. This is like I'm cheating. This one connects. Okay. And still I got my 90.
Still, you got your 90.
So I got my 90. I love the element of your opening hallways. And you're kind of working your way
Yeah.
through there.
It feels like such a great like horror element, right? Like you have your flashlight and you're trying to get down the hallway and find these damn parts so you can get out of here. But you're
Yeah.
always like hearing monsters and knowing that they're around you and coming.
God, it felt so video game or board gamey when you explained it that way. I was like,
Right.
shit, we have a board game. All right. Add a nearby enemy, 2
Oh,
places.
man.
Shit. We're getting like. All right. What's our next enemy? Xmas Light Snake. All right. I got to go get some.
Oh man, of
quartz.
course. The one that's printing. How close is that to getting done? Probably not even close, right?
It's going to take a second. So, Christmas Light Snake is going to be the small cork, and then Krampus will be the big cork if we need to do corking. All right, 2 places within my enemy. Shoot. All right. Feels like I'm going down, so I'll probably go to the side. That'll probably be the better way to do this. All right, so I'm going to put 1, 2. Flip that one. And then I got my action card. Scared stiff. No rotation. I lost a rotation my next turn.
Is that a hold? Or is that a
well,
use?
it says next turn.
Next
so
turn.
I hold it and then have to burn it on next turn.
Okay.
So I'm done. I'm stuck. Enemy now needs to move closest to me. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Feels like this guy's the closest. So
Yep.
he's going to move there.
Yep.
All right. There we are. I like it. Where you want to go?
Okay. So if I'm stuck where I'm at, I probably leave and go back to the room
Okay.
and then come out just right next to where I am.
Okay.
Oh, let's see, because there are bad guys there. Yeah, so I'm gonna do 1-6.
Okay. And I always flip top to bottom, so.
Okay, so I'm stuck. So I gotta rotate that one so that I can get the one next to it.
So. Okay, you're gonna rotate.
I'm gonna
this
90. I'm gonna 90
you
that one.
Technically, can just flip this one without a rotation.
Can
Because-
I?
Yeah, because you're in the room and you can go out unless we decide to have doors in there.
That's true. Couldn't you game the system where I just don't follow any path, and every time I'm in a room, I'm allowed to flip over 4 tiles? Then
That's a good question. Do we allow it or not? That could be part.
I don't
of the
think that
benefit.
seems like
So
very
then we
fair,
have to
but-
put doors in the rooms. If that's the case, the doors are going to have to be on the outskirts or the interior of the room. If you want to go with that path.
Because, oh, right. And then you could only do that twice. So then every room that you got into, you could flip over 2.
Yeah, you always have to go to the door to get into the room, which gives more complexity.
Okay. Well, write that down maybe.
You know, and honestly, and this, I hate to be the complexity, but I'm pulling in another game that I used to play. It was like called this Ghost Adventure game.
Okay.
And what was cool about it is that, let's say, and this is just for example here, I'm not saying we're going to do this, but let's say this was like a green door and this is a blue door, a green door and a blue door. And there was always like a card that was like, only green doors are opened or only blue doors are open.
Oh, I see.
So like at any given time, you're like, shit, green doors are closed. I have to go this way or the other way.
Yeah.
Cool little elements to that, but it's complexity. I'm just saying, like, for now, doors may have some sort of...
Or you can only go in and out of an area 1 time per turn or something like
like that
right?
too.
Like, I don't know.
So you flip this one. You've done your 1 flip. You can't do another adjacent flip. So if that's it...
I want to rotate that one like 90 degrees counterclockwise, basically.
So you want that one rotated, or you could go down this path and rotate this
Or
one.
I could go down that path and rotate that one. Okay, maybe I want to do that.
Okay.
Rotate that guy and then go forward. Okay, so flip the one in front of me.
And I always do top to bottom.
Yeah,
That's my
sure,
thing.
whatever. Okay. So
Oh, shit, look at this. You
Okay.
can go here.
boom, and then across and then to there. Now I'm there and I'm flipping that next one.
This one here.
Yep. Boom, I'm flipping that next one.
Uh-oh. You want
Hey,
this
I
one?
don't know that that's uh-oh.
No, you don't know what that's an enemy. Oh, shit.
Balls.
So enemy gets pulled out.
Yep.
You almost got a full board of enemies. You got Inca Gingerbread Man,
Motherfucker.
Oh, man, he's so imposing, too. Oops,
He's big.
big dude.
He takes up the entire space. Okay, so now I'm what? Action?
You're on action, which is, do you want to fight? You want to flee?
No. That's so event. Did we do event yet?
Oh, yeah, you didn't do your event. You're right. I forgot we did do that. Enemy freeze. Enemies freeze in place for 1 turn.
Well, that's the they freeze as in they don't move the next turn, but
So-
he can still attack me.
Well, he can't because he's frozen in place. You can attack him because now you're on your action.
Woof.
So do you want to leave?
Do I want to attack? Do I want to like pull an action card? Do I want to flee, or do I want to attack him? Is basically the move here, right?
Mhm.
If he's frozen,
Yeah.
maybe I pull an action card.
Well, and I love that you thought that, because my next question to you is, you got now stuck next to the guy because you came to this point, you flipped it, he's an enemy, you're like, oh shit. When an enemy gets next to you, let's say you did your shit and you're like, okay, I gotta either flee because I don't want to be around him. I would say, let's pretend he wasn't frozen. You pulled an action card and it was some bullshit that didn't help you. He should be able to fight you.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're clear on that. So yeah, you're at the point of he's frozen in place. He can't get you because he's frozen. So you can action, or you could flee, or you could do whatever you like.
I attack that motherfucker.
Oh hell yeah, we got some attacks on him. So he is a 9, and you got,
I don't care.
You got 3 rolls on
Yeah.
9.
I don't even care.
All right, here we go. Here we go. You ready for this?
Ready.
Oh shit.
I can't tell. I can't see it.
Oh shit. He just took 4 off of you, my
Oh
friend.
man. All right. Well,
1,
that's what
2,
Inca
3, 4.
Gingerbread do.
But you're in fight mode now, so you have
Yeah.
to...
I'm in survival. I'm in survival mode.
All right, so you nailed him down by 2. So
Okay.
he's now down to, and this is, we'll have to figure this. There's have to be a slider or something. So
Yeah.
he's down to 7.
Last roll.
Come on, lucky rolls. All right, you got 3 more on him.
Boom.
So he's down to what? 7-4. He's to 4 now.
He's at 4. We gotta write that. You put a sticky note on him or something like that that says, 9 and has 9, and then you cross off 5 of those.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just put it on here. He's at 4.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, so what happens now? We just stay next to each other?
Because you already had a freeze. He can't move.
But
that's
what
why
if he
did that.
could move? He doesn't attack me again, right?
I see what you did. Since you didn't beat him.
Yeah, because we're just like standing next to each other.
I think once the fight occurs, then the turn's done.
Yeah.
Like
But I mean, okay, so now it's gonna say enemies need to move.
Mm-hmm.
He can't move, so he can't move because he's frozen.
Because we just had the fight. The battle's been done. Once a fight's
Okay.
been done, once you decide a fight, there's no movement of enemy.
Yeah.
Because you fought him, and that was the brawl that you just had.
Yeah, I can see why instruction manuals for board games are like imposing and ridiculous, right? Where you're just like, well, I have to read this 37-page thing to understand what the rules are. You're like, yeah, because if it's complex, and that's what makes it fun, but it also has lots of like, it has to have limitations.
And that's where there's different like scales. So there's simple games, there's medium, and there's expert games. So
Right.
I think we're good. All right. So my next turn, I can't rotate, so my rotate is done, but I can still flip. So I might go back to this room, and I'm gonna flip this one, which didn't really do much for me. So because I can't do a 90 because I lost that, I already put that back in the event. I get my event card. Christmas warping. I can warp to another player. I don't know if that's an option or I have to. You didn't say it was mandatory or not.
What does it say?
It says Christmas warping. Warp to another player.
Yeah, I mean that's
Any other player.
And does it say you can hold it or that you have to use
No holds, just you can do it.
Because it's a
warp to any other player.
Yep.
So I feel like I got to warp next to you.
Yep.
All right. Which now I go and I'm like, shit, I'm next to you.
Fucking kill that Inca.
Let's get this guy. Let's get this little bastard.
I got him down to 4, man.
All right. 7-7. It's a draw.
Oh man.
Oh shit.
What did you do? Because you have to do your event first.
I did the event.
Oh, you
already.
did that. Oh,
yeah,
that
that
was
was
the
the warping to you.
Okay.
So he took 4 off of me.
Oh man.
Last
Same
roll.
as me. It was he got that.
He's good. This Inca gingerbread man is a pain in the ass. Oh shit, he took 2 more off of me.
Oh god.
He is still alive.
Oh dude. All right.
All right, we're in a world of hurt right now.
Okay, so now it's supposed to be some kind of movement.
No, because we had a fight. It's done.
Okay. So no movement after a
Once
fight.
you have a fight, there's no movement of enemies.
Yeah.
Because I think that just keeps it fair.
Okay.
Because you're usually next to an enemy during a fight.
That makes sense. Or you've won.
You've won.
Right, and they're off the board.
Right. Okay, it's you.
Okay, so my turn. So
So you could always try to like go back somewhere and find a path, but it doesn't mean you couldn't come back and fight or whatever later.
yeah, that's true. Okay, so I'm gonna flee back across the other side of the board to the to just the elbow.
Okay.
Now, what could I do from here? Can I rotate underneath me?
We were kind of saying like you can't rotate where you're on.
But then, like, how would I ever get out of here?
Because then you could go here, and then use your rotate on that.
Oh, and then I would use my rotate there. Okay, so I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna rotate it towards the black.
Okay, so you're kind of blocking your path to go across, but that's fine.
I'm cutting you off.
You are cutting me off. It's all right, but
I've like abandoned you. Okay.
Oh, you got a good, but you got your rotate, but you're stuck now.
But I'm stuck, so I'm gonna go to the end of that hallway, right? I feel like you have to go to the end of the hallway, and then now my event card.
Okay. Part found. You randomly found a play part.
Holy shit!
Score.
Love it.
All right, this is good. I'm gonna put this little part on you right here. You got a generator. All right, now your action, right?
Yeah.
Or you're taking it, yeah, because there's no guys that are close enough to fight. Revive a player. If an enemy kills a player, use this card to revive them with half health. So we were saying like players may not be able to fully die or the game's over if you die. So would you say that's like you can give your team member health?
What was the card again? Sorry, I was meepling.
Oh yeah, fair enough. I know you're doing 2 in 1. So this is revive player. So if let's say somebody died,
But it's a hold. So you're holding it right now.
Yeah.
So you're just saving it for when I die.
Okay. It's yours though.
Oh well, I'm saving it for when you die.
And we were saying dying, we haven't figured that out yet. So we're there. All right, so now an enemy has to get closer to you. I would say it's probably this one, right?
Yep. Oh yeah.
But they're not next to you because it's not.
And they get to rotate. Do they just not rotate if it's not like are they it's almost like are they smart and they're like purposely rotating and trying to screw you over, which you would have to do as a player to like they couldn't do it themselves. You would have to like be thinking about it. So I'm thinking no.
I think they're
They're
mindless.
just dumb, right?
I think
they're just like if they can get towards you and that doesn't mean you have to rotate anything, they just don't and they just move towards you and that's it. Like the rotate is so that they can make progress.
Yeah, so they're going to go here but they're still stuck.
They're still stuck, so it's like whatever,
Right.
Yeah.
And even still they're stuck and so you're kind of like, "Whoo, we can't get to me because even if you rotates this, it still doesn't connect with that."
Totally.
So the next time, this guy might be the guy that's moving, so you got to vominos out of there.
Right.
All right, my turn.
Okay.
Shoot. Okay, so you blocked me off. Oh, I always could rotate that back and then get you stuck there.
That's true.
Um,
It's a cooperative game though.
it is. We want to continue our journey. So what I could do is this. I could go one back and I'm going to flip this one up. And then that gives me the ability to flip this one. Which is kind of dead end, but that's fine. So I'll go there. Now, gingerbread snowman Inca guy, he will flip something because he's the closest to me. Oh wait, no, I have to still do my event card. Let me do those first before he gets close. Christmas magic. All enemies gain 3 freaking health points back. Damn it.
Man. Oh, jeez, brutal. This is gonna be tough.
Yeah, no, that's what's good about it.
Yeah,
It
that's
is tough.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he's back to 7.
Totally.
So he's back to 7, and I don't feel like I can even fight him. Because I can't fight somebody if there's no connection to the room, right?
No.
Okay.
You gotta be
To action it. Yes, I found a health pack.
awesome.
3 points back. Sweet. All right, I'm done. It's all to you. Oh, wait. You have a hold right now where you could throw me a sleigh part.
Do I have a sleigh part?
You do. I'm not saying you have to. I just want to let you know you had that.
You would be closer to where it needs to go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously I throw you the sleigh part. That's my action. Though,
Yeah, you have to
right?
use
So
that
event
as an action.
first.
Okay. No, you actually have your turns. You can move.
Oh, that's true. Maybe I move back to our spot and then I flip over the black one that's Oh man, I can make it back. I can make this thing back myself.
Yeah.
I run that bad boy back. Boom.
Part dropped off.
Yep.
Slay and play.
Yep. Two of the 3 in, right?
I have a thought in this next thing we're going to talk about in a second. All right, so you got your event, right? No, you haven't. You haven't done your event.
Event.
And add enemy anywhere on the board.
Okay. The hell away from us. The very bottom corner.
So we're almost to full enemies on board at this
Nice.
point. So it's Miss Claus.
Okay.
I'm going to put her way down here.
Yep. Flip over her spot.
Okay. Now, what I was thinking. Oh, you have your action now.
Yeah, and I don't care about that other action before, so I'm pulling an action card. Actually, could I keep going? I could keep moving, couldn't I? Because I haven't hit a roadblock yet. Is dropping off a piece the end of my movement?
Well, and I should have probably not forced the event on you. I think once you pull the event, your movement's done.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
But
in between, though, it could have been.
But here's the thing: I pulled the event for you, so why don't you just go ahead and finish a move? Did you have somewhere you wanted to go?
Yeah, I mean, flip over that black one that's right next to there.
Okay. And you already had your rotation.
And so I'm stuck.
Okay. So the event already happened. Now you're on action. You can throw a part, but you don't need that. You can revive a player that's dead, so you don't need any of those.
Action.
So you got your action. Mobility Bruce. Add an extra 90 to degree turn. So
is that a hold?
I feel like you could. It says hold.
I think that means you got to hold it for your next time.
So I think you're stuck, and we talked about this last time, is that you can only have a certain number of holds. I think you can only have 3 holds.
3.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably a writing down.
Yeah, because up to this point, we've actually just played against the rules that we set last time, so there's really not too much. So I'm going to write one of the enemies. Only enemy closest moves. And only one space turn and rotated. I kind of like this enemy thing. It actually feels really balanced now. But
all right, cool.
Maybe I'm wrong on that. All right, so you're done, right? I think you got your thing.
I think that's it.
All right, shit. Now what do I need to do? All right, I feel like I want to rotate. Oh, wait, no, you know what? Last thing is enemy needs to move closer to you.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So here was my question, and I don't know how you feel about this because this could be a huge change to the game or not. Can an enemy go in a room?
Oh,
and
right.
This enemy here would go into the room.
I don't think so because it feels like the rooms are like safe spots, right? I don't know.
Maybe one room is a safe spot, and that's always like the slay room or the start room. But wouldn't it be kind of cool that, an enemy gets into this room, and because you made the decision to stay in the room, now they're stuck in the room.
And they just instantly fight you, right? I assume.
Yeah, so your next turn, like you'll have all your normal yeah, that's a good question because you could flee.
I mean, which makes sense, right?
But the next time anybody goes into that room, now that they're in the room, they're always in the room until you fight them and kill them. Because that's cool. Like you get that makes it way more tense. You're like, shit. We got freaking crazy ass evil Santa waiting in the sleigh room.
In the sleigh room.
I don't know. There's something I like about that, but we could try it.
Sure.
So he moved
write it
in
down.
here.
I don't know. Like, do we need to write down all of these?
I'm writing them in red as just examples, and then that way we can kind of figure it out. So, enemy. Okay, so we'll have to fight. Enemy can go in rooms. How's your? Do we need to take a peek at what you're up to?
I mean, no, it's pretty bad.
It's hard to do both, play a game and
well,
edit.
so we can.
Let's take a quick peek. Where are you at here?
Well, so.
Oh, you.
So I had basically found a meeple.
Okay.
Right, and I found one that I liked, and then we added it, and I made it the right size, so it's the right amount of millimeters high. And then I added these 2 parts of it, right, because we know we want these holes in between. And so I thought that was like a right size. And then I was like, well, what I'll do is I'll bring it into Photoshop, and then I'll use this variation to be like, how do we make each one of these different? Like maybe one's the medic and one's the, so they're like different characters. Maybe
like
one
classes.
Yeah, like classes maybe, or even if we don't decide on classes, just they look sort of different, right? Like maybe one has, but like, so this was my first try at that, right? And it was like adding giant hats to it or something.
Because you think it's 2 eyes.
Yeah, and then this one a little bit better. I mean, that's a little KKK-ish here, right?
Eesh.
But So I'm just kind of like, well, maybe I need to more like select his head.
Just add different hats. That's
Yeah.
like what so it's such a simple thing. Like you can only do so much anyway.
Yeah. So then like what does he have? Like a medic hat?
You know what would okay, I appreciate where you're headed with this, but what if that was the default, right? Of the character. You always have two things you can have in your hands, and then we did like a hole in the head, and then we had a cool like it's a customization thing. I want to wear the hat today, or I want to wear this today, and that's like your character.
Yeah, and if you're the medic, if we decide that that's the way to go, you would just have, you know, some kind of part that you would put in that's over your face.
Yeah, so I like the idea that like you have what 4 of those just like that.
Yeah.
And then we go and print like all the cool little parts. And so what's cool is you may have 4 colors, and you're like, well, I want to be the medic. That's yellow. Cram that in the head.
Yeah. And so then there would be like
a mask or something we create.
Yeah, like let's say it was, I mean, this is going to be lame, right?
That's
of course.
A good idea.
But like let's say then it had this spot, and this was like, instead of this being a hole, it was a peg that stuck out.
Yeah.
Right? And then you would be like, oh, see, they're connected together. So then you would take this and add this here.
Yeah.
Right? And that would be like that would be his face.
Yeah.
And there would be different faces then that you would
and like
get.
we would just we could say here's like 10 different faces. You could be all these different.
Yeah.
Or
so
like
then,
helmets or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah. Whatever these would be.
I like that.
All right.
I just like the customization of it because that's what's fun about this. We're trying to make it unique.
Yeah. And I like the idea that maybe then you could come up with your own little faceplate, right? that you would use on top if you were 3D printing, or if you were like, you know, learning how to create things in Illustrator. That could be a fun thing for you to try and make up your own thing of that. It could be like, it's a lesson, I tell you. It's not just a game. You're learning things.
Oh man, I love it. Well, all right. Here's the deal. We're at nearly time at 11 o'clock today.
That's right. We are at 11. God, it flies by.
It flies when it's having fun. So what we could do, just to kind of finalize where we're at with this, because up to this point, there have been minimal things that I would love to change. Like this has been, I got to be honest, one of the most fun versions of this that I've played so far. Like there's the tension of the enemies.
Yep.
We were like dying towards this way, like every little move, and we still have parts we need to collect. We never decided how many parts we were going to actually collect.
3, I thought, but you know, that's sort of, it could be more or less depending on 5, how many cards or how many players you have. Like, I don't know if
that could be the complexity piece.
Yeah.
So what we need to kind of figure out, and maybe in a next playthrough, if we can continue this playthrough, is like what happens when we die. That was actually one of the things, is like, what do we do? Yeah,
what happens? I feel like from before, our talking before, it was a lot of like, go back, you go back to the starting zone, and you come back with half health, and you miss a turn.
I was even, I can agree with that. Maybe it's even like, you have to put one part back or something like that.
If you have a part, that thing gets freaking...
I think just one part.
So even anything that you've added to the sleigh gets removed?
It's a penalty.
Woo.
You need a penalty.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, I feel like, again, that's just another lever, right? If it's too easy, then you make that a thing where you go, hey, every time you die, or if dying is like rare enough, you can make then the penalty harsher, right?
Yep. I like that. All right, we're going to have to figure that piece out. So let's do one more round of us playing.
Yeah.
And then we'll check in the 3D print, and we'll call it good for the evening.
Nice.
If you're good. And then I think your meeple is like spot on. We could get the main meeple printed, And then we just got to work on some different faces and weaponry.
Yeah,
For how we're gonna go through
we'll
that.
just what do we want to add to them? What faceplates do we want? And what how do we make the sled pieces?
I think we're so close to having like a version of this.
Yeah.
I think the challenge that we'll have, and maybe this is a great topic for next time, is that how are we going to make this easy enough that all these little pieces are printable?
Right.
And you know what we've never done, and I think I just want to give you good credit for, is you balance the shit out of which kind of pieces should be there. Turns, straights, and T's.
Because I did it off of a labyrinth.
Yeah,
We did it with math.
You did it great. Because I think up to this point, like,
We haven't even thought about that as being a bad
not
thing, right?
all.
It's
It
like,
has been
yeah,
right on.
nice.
Perfect.
Nice.
All right, so it goes to your turn. Let's see here. Yep, it's your turn.
So I'm stuck in the sleigh area with Krampus, right? Or
You can flee him right now because your first turn is to get the hell out of there if you'd like to.
no, well, oh, that's right. I could just leave. Is there any point in fighting him at this point? Like, do we get any advantage? I mean, there's plenty of bad guys on the board.
The next time you go into that room, no matter what, you'll have to fight.
You have to fight him. Yeah, I mean, which means the next time we put something back in there, but I also don't want to die because then we're going to lose a piece. So I feel like we
Great
flee out of
tension,
here.
great
I feel like we
tension.
flee out of here.
Okay, which way you want to go?
Back to the starting room
Okay.
and all the way up to Polar Bear.
All the way here.
To Polar Bear. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm thinking, because at this point, I'm thinking we just need that last piece. That piece is somewhere on this freaking board, right? And I got to get it. Is that the case? Is there 2 pieces on the board? Or is there only one?
There's one on the board.
Okay.
But I really feel like it has to be 5 pieces, but I don't know why I was thinking it was 5
Sure.
all the time. But there
Okay,
is a piece,
so
but we don't know where it's at yet, technically.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is maybe I go back. So go back to the L and then go 1 towards
This one?
oh,
No,
because like there, because like how do I get left at this point? Like I want to uncover all of these pieces because I don't know that that's an E.
you would have to start in this room.
So okay, so I'm gonna start there. I'm gonna flip that one over because this is what I would do as a player. I'd be like, we need to uncover that last one. Bad guy.
Boom.
Boom. He gets added.
Which is the last one, which is our Krampus.
It's Krampus.
Krampus is on the board. We're at full enemies now.
Wow. Okay, so I'm like, yikes. I don't want to mess with any of that. I flipped one over. What can I do? I can rotate.
You actually could rotate. No, you can rotate. You have 2 rotates if you want to do your mobility boost because you have a hold card. So you have 2 rotates. If you burn the card.
So I'm not going to burn the card. I'm just going to do 1 rotate. It's at 2-6. I'm going to rotate 2-6.
Okay. 2-6. And you wanted to go down, I suspect.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm going to follow that and do him down.
Now do you want to use your rotate? You have your second one.
Oh, to take out Polar Bear. I could fight Polar Bear at that point.
Which he's only
right?
4, yeah.
And he's only 4. I'm gonna do it. So rotate that piece.
So your action's
I'm
going away.
using my action. Rotate that piece. Go in and fight that Polar Bear.
All right. And did you pick up an action? I can't
No,
remember.
so my action is fight this thing.
The action is to fight. You got 4 on the Polar Bear. All right, let's hope you can get him. First roll is oof. He took 3 off of you.
Oh,
1, 2,
man.
3.
Okay, next one.
That wasn't
Better this time. Better this time.
Yeah, you got him.
Hell yeah!
Dead Polar.
What was it? What
4.
was this?
It was 5-1.
5-1. Perfect.
5-1.
Okay, so that ends my turn, right?
Yep.
But I
he's off.
get something for defeating an enemy, don't I?
Yeah, so I think when you defeat an enemy, maybe you get like, I kind of think about it. I'm going to use the video game analogy. You kill an enemy. Oh, let me get those health orbs.
Yeah, right.
Like, you got to get like
I gotta
a
get
certain amount back. So he was a 4. He was a low enemy. You can't get more than he had. So maybe 3 back or something like that.
half his health. I get half his health back
So
too.
1, 2.
So I get 2 back.
Yep, and there you go. And now though, it's so since you fought him and he's dead. There's no other enemies that attack you because you were in.
And I can move forward to his spot that he was on, right?
I think you surely could.
Because that's where we were fighting.
Yep.
So okay, so that's it.
You're done.
That's the
your
end of my
roll.
turn.
All right, and then for myself, I'm gonna go ahead and rotate this guy. Try to get this undone. Shit, I don't have any more rotates. Okay. Let's see what my event is. Add an enemy, so there's no more enemies to add. So that's a burned event, and that might be like a balancing thing.
Yeah.
Too many add enemies, so I'm gonna put that on there.
Because before we were like, there's not enough freaking enemies, but then we weren't adding ones at the beginning.
I really like adding it. I think that changes it. Do you agree with that?
Oh, for at the beginning?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
All right, sweet. Glad you agree with that. All right, my action. Adrenaline boost. Okay, 3 hit points to next attack. Must play before a roll. So I have a hold. So if I get to go fight a guy, I get a roll.
Nice.
All right, so here's a great opportunity to kind of figure out how this is going to go. Who's the closest to me as an enemy? It's either this guy in a room. I think he's
stuck.
He's stuck when he goes in the room, so it's got to be this guy.
Yep.
And so he gets a turn.
He gets a turn.
He turns it, but he's still like 1 away from me.
Yep.
All right. And so my action. Oh, wait, that was it. I'm done.
You're done.
I'm done.
And I think what we should do is can we like snapshot in our mind where we are at? Oh damn, I'm not even gonna be here next time.
I'll just have to play it by myself and act like you're there.
What's any different between any other Thursday night, Adam? Oh.
Actually, I probably won't touch this board, and so it'll be exactly as is.
It's just gonna sit there.
I'm gonna take a picture.
Yeah.
This is good. Actually, this is really good. Up to this, like last week, I felt there was deltas. This is the first time we played the game where the entire time I've been excited.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're feeling the same thing.
The only thing is like, I want to make sure we don't have a rule set that is 5,000 pages long, right? So whatever we can do to like rein in complexity and still make it playable and easy to remember, like there can't be 1,000 rules for every situation that happens, right?
Correct.
So there has to be like sort of an overarching rule set that incorporates all the different situations that can happen. Because you can't be like, oh, if this happens, then go to this little thing and read about what happens there, right? It just needs to be like, hey, every time this thing happens, these parts move, and then it's the new set, and you go on to the next set, turn.
Honestly, like, we did get to complexity on some of the discussions, but we never, like, said, yes, that is what we're going to do. I think we,
totally.
We have it simple, so what we'll probably need to do for next time is just write out, take these, which we played, so our last kind of post-game discussion, we got the rules.
Yeah.
We implemented them, which tuned them out a little bit.
Yeah.
I think by next time we play this, like, we should be able to play by this rule set, and we're, like, really close.
Well, and maybe, so I almost think, like, what we need to do in between this is write out what that rule set is into 100%. An actual rule set thing, and then be like, what are we changing of this set rule set every time, right?
Correct.
As opposed to just, like, little notes and us having it in our brain. We need to be like, here's the rule set. Here's the rule set that we're going to try for tonight. Right? And what changes are we going to make to that rule set as we play through and find
I think
deltas?
You're right on. Just the complexity that we have this much. Come on. Tell me that that's not crazy.
And like we would have never be able to make this without like all the help of like AI and the chats and all those things. That's what's fun. I feel like it's not just our brains doing it.
So I'm gonna head back so we can close out the show in that area right there. But one of the things I'll kick over here. I mean, Those are coming along pretty damn good. Look at that.
Nice. I love that.
And nothing messed up with the snake.
Yeah. Hey. I mean, we'll see, but I feel like.
I mean, it did mess up to a certain degree, but.
Oh, turn your mic on though.
Thanks for that reminder.
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah, I haven't seen what the snake looks like, to be honest. Every time I keep glancing over to it, it's Krampus.
it printed those pieces up.
Okay.
But
so just when you break it away, they'll just like fall away as little.
Yeah, like right when
chunks.
they're just like little chunks.
Yeah.
So I think I was nervous that they would mess up with the print.
Oh, okay. But the
Let's go
main
there.
snake, as
Yeah.
at least, hey,
Look, it like
we'll see.
It
We'll see
printed
what
up
that
that little
says.
thing right there. I think
Totally.
it looks fine. So what we may
Yeah.
just do is clip away some of those little extra parts, and
right.
I think we're in a good space.
Nice.
So anyway, let's wait. Your meeple? You had some meeple things.
No, I mean,
yeah,
this
you
was
did. Look
this
at that.
was
You
just
got some
this,
hats
like,
on there.
This was just like me coming out, like, what could you do with hats,
Eat my
right?
shorts.
Like
It's Bart Simpson.
it's Lisa right
it's
there,
Lisa.
like
That's
that.
right.
No. But like if you had like one with a mohawk, right? You could have.
Oh, I love that. You know that hole that is like you have in the face. That
Yeah.
could be in the top too.
Oh, right, where it's like you're fitting a helmet onto
On
them
them.
or something like
Or
that.
like
I
a
could see
hat or
that. Yeah,
something. It
that's
could-
harder to do in 2D, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, I could totally see
Or it could be
that.
like just their head doesn't exist, and you're putting different heads on.
Oh,
them,
right, like it's just
which would be
flat.
Sweet.
Like it's just flat across
Yeah.
here, and you're like shoving a head down on.
That's
kind of
cool. I like that too. I don't know. I think we can kind of decide that one for next
If we
time.
decide that, especially if we're gonna do classes, like if you're a medic class, which means you get 5 extra health points at the beginning of the game, right? Or you're you're the tank, and so you get 5 extra, like, or you get 2 extra hit points every time you roll the dice, right? Those could be simple class
So-
things that you're just choosing at the beginning that just gives you a little buff.
You just like hit on like maybe the one thing is like, let's say you die in the game over. If you use the class method,
You lose your class.
like you don't even, you have to use your class to help someone. So you always have to play like, all right, you got your medic and you're almost dead.
okay.
You got to go help your guy, and if you go touch your guy, you like give him.
You're reviving him.
Yeah,
it's
you
like
revive people. And
it's like a video game, right? You're like, I'm going to res
it's
you.
that perfect mix.
Yeah.
But all right, I feel like we did a kick-ass job tonight. I'm
Nice.
super stoked about
Me
it.
too.
Thank you for everyone in the chat. We
Yeah.
had some good insights. We got Talon jumping in early. We
Totally.
got
Stealth Mouth, H.E. Higley, of course.
We got some nugs from what was it? Giving us some insights. That was,
Yeah.
I think, Jamie in the chat. So
Totally.
thank
Yeah.
you guys. Did we miss everybody? Yeah, H.E. Higley in the chat.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us tonight. I know it's not always easy to jump out, but it's easy once you start hearing our beautiful voices here.
Yeah, exactly. Easy then.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. Check us out next time on Adam and Ryan Show.
Yeah.
And I know we got some other streams. We've been trying other days, so just checking us out as we get those on there, and
Yeah.
we'll see you guys a little bit later. We'll see you
Cool.
next time. Peace out.
Bye.